Happy Fantasy Friday. This is the Banner and Bookmarks podcast. We are Lindsey,
Kelly,
and Katharine. We are three book besties diving into romantasy with unhinged theories and a bit of spice.
This is episode 1 of a 6-episode series covering Brimstone by Callie Hart. And today we are covering the prologue and chapters 1 through 8. There will be spoilers. We will be finding clues, making connections, and theorizing all things Fae and Alchemy.
So pour yourself a drink, come escape reality with us, and let's talk about books. Let's get started by giving our overall thoughts and reactions to the book. It's funny because as I was outlining these episodes, I realized that this is our first time on the podcast that we have covered a book 2 in a series.
So cool.
All of our other coverage has always been a book 1 in a series. So it made these outlines really fun because we got to work on connecting not just thoughts from within one book, but multiple books and bonus chapters. Katharine, what were your overall thoughts to this book?
I liked book 2. It was a solid 4 for me. It was kind of what I expected from a book 2, right? It's kind of standing as this bridge between all the world building and the introductions we got in book 1 and the climax of the action, which we're going to get in the next book. So it was a good bridge for me. And I did very much appreciate a lot of scenes that I felt like Kelly probably wrote for the fans, especially a lot of those Carrion scenes. It just looked like she read how much we loved Carrion and she just let him shine. So I very much appreciated that.
Yep.
Kelly, what about you?
I really loved this book. Vibes alone, it was 5-star for me. I had so much fun reading it. I could not put it down. I thought it was hilarious. I just really vibed so hard with Brimstone. I think plot-wise and story-wise, it's a 4 for me, which is also still really good. It wasn't quite God tier. I do think that this series still has a very strong chance of being a God tier series for me. And I agree with you, Katharine. I think that it very much hit my expectations for what a book 2 should do, in my opinion, which is be that bridge, give more information, start to kind of give you things that you wanted in book 1, like the information that you were missing, and kind of really set you up for, like, when you look back at book 2, realize, oh my God, like, what is going to have to happen in the next book for all of these things to start to come together? So I'm going to say 4.5 overall. I loved it. I had so much fun, and I cannot wait for book 3. Lindsey, what about you?
Same. So it started off as a 4-star read for me, mostly because book 2, like both of you guys have said in series, tend to be bridges. They tend to be world building and information building. And we, all three of us, really enjoy those. I thought the interesting thing about this book is that for me, this read as more of a fantasy novel and less of a romantasy novel. And I really liked that about it. I thought that it was heavy on the politics and the world building and the political intrigue and a lot of those things that you get in fantasy novels. So I really liked that. I will say, though, that as I was rereading and outlining, I think that it inched up to a 4.5 because there are a lot of things from a literary perspective. There is a ton of foreshadowing in this book that I did not catch on my first read. So on my reread, I think it inched up for me, which I have found on the podcast that that's pretty common for me to want to up my reading on a second read. And when I'm outlining, I just love finding those little niblets in there. Little nuggets. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't, you guys both said, I can't wait for the next book though. I'm going to have to.
A year.
I know.
A year.
Hey,
a year is actually not that bad.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. We have so many books planned to read between now and then. I feel like it's going to go by like this. Really quick for those of you who are just listening. Real quick.
Little quickie quicks.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start off by summarizing today's set of chapters, which is the prologue and chapters 1 through 8. Katharine, why don't you get us started?
Prologue. Ceres has awoken and spent hours bombarding Teladius and Kingfisher with questions. The three of them are coming up with their plan for the Blood Court. Kingfisher can smell a vampire near them in the castle, and he stalks it down to kill it. After he does, Carrion runs up to him and tells him to look out the window. They see Ceres's pet fox, Onyx, running towards them, hungry feeders on his tail. They ride out and battle the feeders and save the fox, but it is injured in the process. Kingfisher apparently has small magic affinity for healing and uses it to heal the fox, amazing Ceres in the process. And us.
Chapter 1, Hell's Teeth. Ceres is getting ready to acknowledge the Blood Court, and she looks in the mirror to find a strange new being staring back at her. She is now half Fae, half vampire, and about to be crowned queen. Kingfisher, Taladaeus, and Carrion are all with her. Taladaeus warns her that the court is vicious, but they do honor traditions, and that they will use that to their advantage. Once Ceres is crowned, they can use her power to effect change in the Blood Court and stop the killing from the inside. Badass as she is, Ceres cannot bring her godsword Solace with her, as it might look like an act of aggression. Instead, Kingfisher arms her with a small dagger at her thigh, and they enter the court. The 5 Lords of Midnight are assembled at the front of the room, and Ceres joins them, saying, I am no child. My name is Ceres Fane, and I am your queen.
Mic drop.
Chapter 2, Hall of Tears. The Lords of Midnight, Zovena, Aerith, the Hazrax, Algot, and Taladaeus argue amongst themselves, questioning whether or not Ceres is fit to be the queen of their court. They decide that Ceres must first drink blood to prove to them that she is one of them. She drinks from Kingfisher, and oh boy, is it an experience for both of them.
Chapter 3, Dose. The court makes the decision to crown Ceres as their queen. Aerith, one of the Lords of Midnight, places the crown on her head, and then Kingfisher notices a blade in Aerith's hand. So he takes Nemerel and slices Aerith clean in half. Ceres makes her first demands on the court as their ruler. Before a riot breaks out, Kingfisher leaves Amontreath and returns to Erin. He tells Renfis and Lorith about Ceres' coronation and that she dosed him in front of the entire court. They discuss their quest for Foley and how they desperately need him for Ceres' plan to work. Danya bursts into the tent and tells them they need to come outside.
Chapter 4, 114. 8 beings are about to attack, but there is something different about them. They are undead, but they are also perfectly in sync. Renfis and Kingfisher both use their magic on them, but instead of it working against them, they take it in. They attack Erin and absolutely annihilate the war camp before the Lupoprolia can dispatch them. Then try to light them on fire, and Danya and Kingfisher are both severely burned in the process. Hours later, they have them trussed up to a tree, their heads in a sack down by the river.
Chapter 5, Deadstock. Kingfisher and Lorith return to Amontreath to show the rest of the crew, Ceres, Carrion, and Taladaeus, the bag of severed heads they brought with them. Carrion notices that they are from Zilvarin, though. The females bear a sterilization mark and they have rounded human ears. This makes them wonder about Madra's involvement with the rot that has entered the land. While they are discussing it, the Quicksilver won't leave Ceres alone, so she finally gives into it and asks if there is a pool in Amontreath.
Chapter 6, Titles. There is, in fact, a small Quicksilver pool at Amontria, so Ceres quickly makes them all relics so they can travel easily back and forth between there and Kalish. The whole crew has a lovely dinner together. A little bit of found family style tension, but wonderful all the same. Carrion brings up Ceres and Kingfisher's wedding, which causes lovely Archer to go adorably berserk. Kingfisher quickly shuts it down, however, saying that they are godbound and don't need a wedding ceremony.
Chapter 7, Home. After dinner, Ceres and Kingfisher privately discuss the wedding situation. Kingfisher tells her that he would love to marry her, but cannot. During a Fae wedding ceremony, it is a sacred tradition that you share each other's true names, and Kingfisher admits that he does not know that his mother died before she could tell him. Ceres doesn't care, though, and when things start to get hot and heavy between them, she uses some new magic to stifle the sound in the room. Really?
Yes.
That's lovely. The best ever.
Got you.
For all of our listeners, here we go again. 12 pages of glorious later. They are both satisfied. Wow, 12 pages this time,
I
not
counted
8.
the pages.
That's, you know what? Touche,
I
okay?
flipped 1, 2,
Beautiful.
3,
Beautiful.
4.
That's
There
too
you
good.
go.
Absolutely, because
All
your
right.
face, priceless.
That was great. That was great.
Cheers to you, Lindsey. A plus.
Yes.
Cheers.
Bravo, lady.
And cheers to Kingfisher to go from 8 pages to 12.
Right?
Good for you.
Boy is working on his
Good for you.
we
stamina.
haven't even gotten to chapter 20 yet.
I don't know. Oh, don't worry.
Oh, we
I
talk about
counted.
yeah.
I counted.
Yeah.
Chapter 8, Make Your Peace. The next day, Kingfisher and Renfis go to Erin, and it has been absolutely decimated. Only the oak that the feeders were tied to remains, and coming out of the roots is a black ooze, spreading rot and decay.
Okay, this is action-packed from the beginning. And I absolutely love. I love that we begin with him stalking a vampire. Fantastic.
Yes.
Right into it. So we're going to deep dive now. Get ready, guys.
Yay!
So the book starts us off by talking about wolves, a nod to Kingfisher, his Lupoparelia, and the prologue is in Kingfisher's point of view. And I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was coming like this much. Like I thought it would be a few. I didn't realize we would get his brain so much in this book, and I loved.
Here's the thing. You would have known because when we were at Romantasy BookCon, I told you, bitches, that half of the book is in his point of view, and you guys were so exhausted. You were laying in bed, and I go, guys, what do you have to think about that? And I have a video of the two of you in bed going like this. Yay!
Yay!
But I didn't know it was going to be page 1.
Page
Yes.
1. No, totally fine.
And when you
I just
say
wanted to let
half-
everybody know that happened because it was
That did happen.
hilarious. I was like,
True.
guys, it's like 50%. And you were like, yay. And then I think you fell asleep in the middle of the yay. So
We might have been asleep.
It was a very long day. And
It was a
also, I
very
didn't
long
know
day.
you meant half. I thought that was just hyperbole. Lesson learned.
Anyway, always trust
So-
Kelly. Lesson learned.
True story. True story. But either way, we get into Kingfisher's brain.
Mm.
First up,
Delicious.
book in the book. Kingfisher is stalking through the castle. He's hunting a vampire, which I freaking love because I was really afraid that they were going to somehow get to the point where they're like, well, we can't kill vampires now. And so I was really, really, really happy that he was like, no, I do what I want. I'm just going to start killing shit.
It's very Kingfisher of him.
It was, wasn't it? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why not? He's still a vampire hunter, so he should. At this very beginning in the prologue, we get our very first bit of foreshadowing. So Kingfisher smells the vampires, and leaves the room to hunt it down, saying, quote, I'd excused myself, headed out into the hall, and gone looking for the rot.
This is a very interesting parallel here between the vampires and the rot that is spreading throughout this book.
Absolutely.
And Lindsey, you're right. There's so much foreshadowing. I feel like we should have an obnoxious, like, foreshadowing thing that we do, like, every single time. Foreshadowing!
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing!
Yeah, this prologue is packed
Mhm.
with foreshadowing. I honestly probably read this prologue 4 or 5 times as I was going through outlining because every time I kept finding more and more things in here. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh, exciting.
Foreshadowing to the rot and foreshadowing again. Because the vampire that he hunts down actually does seem remorseful, like it's looking for King Fisher to kill it, saying, quote, I'm sorry, I just couldn't face. And then Kingfisher stabs him in the chest with an emerald, his god sword. But again, that foreshadowing, right? Because we're going to get to later in the book, Teladius deciding to either offer the vampires the cure or they can die. And so many of them choose to die. They can't face it again. And it's like just foreshadowing constantly.
Yeah, it's so great. I think it's a perfect way to see inside their brains, really. I think, Lindsey, we were talking about this before the pod, but just how much they suffer. You might think that, oh, all the vampires just love being a vampire and they live this great undead existence, but it really is a struggle for so many of them who maybe didn't want this to begin with, or they have different views potentially. And so I think we're going to bring this piece up a lot throughout the book.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we get firsthand knowledge of it too with Tal later on. And when he kind of faces his reckoning moment with
Yeah.
Steris at the end.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful moment. Tally
then-
boy.
Oh, Tally boy. I could get between him and a carrion sandwich any day. And Carrion, Tal actually invites Carrion to do that. I was
He
like,
sure does.
Me.
That's hilarious.
Catherine's like, I want to come too. I also want an invitation to those wine parties.
Hello. DM me, please.
Because that's what they have access to.
Listen, Evelia Mobile, okay? I think in every series we have, I'm going to figure out I'm going to figure out what their local phone service is in every book series that we do.
Oh, shit. I've moved on Montreth. I need to change providers.
Shadowgate in this case.
Shadowgate Mobile.
Or Shadowcat. Maybe Guru. Maybe it's Guru Mobile. Maybe Guru takes messages.
Mobile. I like that.
Yes.
That is
there we go.
Immediately. Yes, that is right. Okay.
Perfect. Great.
All
Okay.
right. But then
No notes.
we have some more foreshadowing.
Are you going to do that the whole book? Because I kind of like it.
Yes. I told you we needed a thing.
She is now.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Before the vampire perishes, he says to Kingfisher, quote, they're going to destroy her. You know, it has already been seen. This court will fall with her inside. That is literally what happened. But we also have to wonder, who's seen this?
Right.
Is this a prophecy? Is this been coming from some oracle, some other oracle out there that we don't know about? Who's seen it? How do you know
this one keeps me up.
I know.
This one keeps
how
me
did
up.
you know that?
How did you know?
Wild.
How
Who
did you
else
know that?
knows?
Who else knows? And like technically he's right, but like the fact that he says they're going to destroy her, like that's the part that worries me. Because he was right about everything else. So is he going to be right about her being destroyed?
And what does that mean? Destroyed in what way?
Or
Callie.
is it one of those prophecies where people's, like, when they change their mind about something, the future changes, right? So maybe because
on the current
Teladius
path,
had that
Witch
rune
mark?
on his chest, on his chest, and that was meant to destroy them. But then the Hazrak, and that changed things. So I wonder if it's like prophecies can change based on other things that happen.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. And even more. Ready, Katharine?
Foreshadowing!
Foreshadowing!
Dee-dee-dee.
There's another quote in here from Kingfisher. There were those who had spent centuries honing their abilities to control their feelings. It paid to ensure your thoughts and feelings remain private as a member of the Fae. So think ahead to Arisen the dragon who can read thoughts. And Kingfisher tells Ceres that he had honed that skill over the years of keeping his mind guarded. That quote later in the book is I've spent centuries, same wording, spent centuries, practicing at hiding information behind locked doors in my head. She saw what I wanted her to see. So, almost the exact same language about him keeping his thoughts to himself and being careful and guarding his thoughts.
Oh, God, so good. Kingfisher mentions that Ceres has awoken and, quote, she'd been relentless trying to understand, to prepare, to ready herself for what was to come. The foundations of our plan were laid, and Ceres understood the part she had to play in carrying them out, but she was nervous.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I would be
I
too.
think
There's
so.
a lot going
Yeah.
on here. Well, Carrion shows up.
He's
And
so
Kingfisher
helpful.
asks, he's so helpful. Kingfisher asks, why is he still hanging around here? And he, quote, answers distractedly, oh, I have my reasons. Kingfisher is asking him not only because he's still annoyed by Carrion's presence in general, but Sanisroth is not safe for humans. So
wait, but he's not human anymore.
True. That is true.
That's true.
That is true.
Fair enough.
Our boy here is
Yeah, but it's not safe for
indestructible.
Fae. It's not safe for Fae either.
You mean
yeah.
it's not a good
No.
idea for him to remain as food in
Yeah,
Montreal?
he should not.
No,
Mm-mm,
absolutely
mm-mm.
not. Absolutely not.
But I also love how he shadow chokes the shit out of Carrion because he is so annoyed with him.
I know. Well, I also have to wonder, is the reason that Carrion wants to stay or is staying, is it his feelings that he has towards Ceres, or is it something else?
I mean, our boy loves
Yes.
books, and there's a big library up
There
there.
is a very big library. Listen, I gotta say, I was convinced when we got that little teaser snippet from Callie leading up to Brimstone that it was not Carrion who went back and forth with Kingfisher about oh, do you love her? Yes, it's complicated. I thought it was Tal. And so I was kind of shocked when the reveal happened later. I do love his answer though, and I feel like to me that puts a bow on that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think that it is something else that we will maybe theorize about later in our podcast, and also things that we just have to wait until book 3 to fully realize.
Yeah. And I do think that it's Ceres. I don't think that it's in a romantic way.
Yeah.
But
I
I
agree.
do think that he's here for her. And
Yeah.
to be honest, it's something that kind of bothers me throughout this entire book. I think that Carrion is a really great friend to Ceres, and I don't think that Ceres is a really great friend to him back.
Agreed.
And so I think in this moment, she's going through a lot, and I think that he doesn't have a lot back home despite having lived there for thousands of years. I think that this is his family now, and I think that he is there to support it. So I think, again, not romantic, but family and friendship.
And
I think
we
it is
know,
her.
and we find out he doesn't have anything back home. We see Gracie's death on the page, and he buries her. And I do agree with you. I don't like how Ceres treats him. I do like this kind of reckoning that Kingfisher and him eventually come to, because I do like that Kingfisher can finally appreciate Carrion for who he is, not only just as a friend to Ceres, but the dude's got hidden depths and pays a lot of attention.
Yeah.
But it
For
kind of
sure.
makes sense that he would take on Saris as kind of this like sister friend, because think about it. He's been raised by women for his entire
Yeah.
1,000-year existence. Like, this is just normal for him, really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
him gravitating towards a girlfriend as his friend, par for the course, really, for him.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think Saris is so used to him being an asshole and being this like fuck boy kind of thing that I almost feel like it's taking her a while to realize that that's not really who he is at the core of him and like not who he is anymore. And so I think it's going to take her a little bit and she's going to have to kind of let it go in the way that I think we see Kingfisher let it go, which is really cool.
Yeah. Honestly, she needs girlfriends like us, and we could just help
She
her out with
does.
this.
Saris,
Come
give us a
on.
ring.
Bring us
Well,
to the Feyland.
On Guru Mobile.
Guru Mobile.
Oh my God, when you said ring, I thought you meant like a ring to travel there. And I was like, yeah, give me a ring.
Make
Give us
me
a
a
relic.
relic, Saris.
Make us a
no,
relic.
give me
Either way.
a Guru Mobile.
We can do it
Either
in
way.
person. We can do it over text.
We can do
whatever.
it over here. Yeah. Well, Carrion tells Kingfisher that Onyx, Saris's pet fox, is running toward them. Ravenous feeders are hot on his trail. And this is the first time that we see that Onyx will really do absolutely anything for Saris, which is huge foreshadowing to the end of the book and Onyx's death. This is the best friend, loyal companion that you want at your side. This scene made Katharine and and I'm sure Lindsey, but we were reading it together at the same time. We cried.
We cried.
Because
In this
there
one?
is
No.
when he dies.
Later.
But this
okay.
When
scene,
Onyx.
yes, but
Okay.
I think this scene is setting you up for like, that is why that meant so much. It's not just because it's an animal. No one likes to see an animal or a pet die, but it is like this loyalty that Onyx has for Saris is just fully unwavering.
And it hasn't been said on page, but I still have to wonder if Onyx is that familiar. Like the term
yeah.
hasn't been used right in like explicitly, but I still get the same intent behind
That
their
connection.
relationship.
Totally agree.
There's something definitely more to the fox.
To Onyx. Yeah,
For
there's
sure.
gotta be. Well, we'll get to
Onyx.
it. At
Yeah,
that
we'll
point,
get
but,
to it. Yeah.
Because why? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I digress. Well. Guess
Kelly,
what
tell us the
happens?
story. Tell us the story.
Well, they grab Bill the horse and they take off. And there is the best funny moment in this entire book, in my opinion, when Carrion grabs Kingfisher's forearm and swings himself up onto that horse and says, "Don't you want to know where I learned that?" And Kingfisher says, No.
No.
And Carrion says, "Lauren taught me."
Lauren taught me.
First of all, okay. It is November 17th, turns midnight, 2025. The three of us, Banner and Bookmarks podcast, is leaving the fantastic midnight release, Brimstone midnight release party hosted by Damsel Bookstore and the TBR Book Bus in Canton, Georgia. And of course, we are reading the book as we drive home, the 40-minute drive home.
I'm driving.
Kelly is reading the book.
I am in the backseat.
in her
My
glorious
sister,
accent.
in my
I'm
accent, my
driving.
sister has her phone with the phone light on. Katharine is in the passenger princess. Lindsey's driving.
Princess.
I am narrating, doing my best Anthony Palmini, which is
I
pretty
hate that I
fucking
didn't
bad.
record this.
Okay, and I'm reading, and this part comes, and when I tell you, I start screaming, bouncing up and down, and this is what I said: "We got a one-horse trope, and it's Carrion and Kingfisher!" Like, I lost it. I lost it. I was so excited because if you have listened to any of our other deep dives, you know that one horse is one of my favorite tropes. I love one horse. And it's freaking my two favorite male characters. I was so excited. And so, thank Callie Hart, truly, madly, deeply, I love you for this moment. It was the best. It was so good.
You screamed us almost off the road with your
Yes,
I know.
hilarity.
I really had to keep
was-
it together.
I was so excited. I couldn't stop smiling. This is what I think brought the vibes like right
Oh,
from
yeah.
the get-go, because I got my favorite trope with two of who I think are the hottest literary men in romantasy right now. Two of
And
the
you know what?
hottest.
You know what, Kelly? I will take this to my grave. Callie Hart knows about your trope. And Callie Hart thought, I'm going to write this one for
Yes.
Kelly. Because there's
Yes,
so
she
many
did.
good fan moments. And
Mhm.
this
I
is a
know.
fan
Mhm.
moment.
This
and
This
I
is a
loved
fan
it.
moment. She did it. Thank you, Callie.
Anyway.
Anyway, love this. Best way to open this book for me. Well, that whole hilarious thing happens, and they fight off a pack of hungry feeders. They save Onyx. Thank God. Coming back into the castle. Gods. And half gods. Hey.
Uh-huh.
See what I did there? Coming back into the castle, they
Foreshadowing.
run into Lorith, who taught Katharine how to do that. And Lorith tells Kingfisher that he's been looking for their old friend Foley, but has yet to find him. Now, remember, Foley was a member of the Lupo Prolia. We know that from the bonus chapter that was on Callie's website, that he was lost in the Battle of the Ashen Gate. But
Nobody knew dead.
exactly. It seems as though he is not dead. He was made into a vampire, and now they're looking for him to reunite. That is a very good point here that I think, Lindsey, you said multiple times in Quicksilver. Katharine has harped on this. The use of words is very important. Callie is one of those authors who does things like this very purposefully. She used the word lost because he is not truly dead. He was lost to them. And so, genius. I loved when we found out right away, oh, we've got another Lupo and we're going to reunite with him in this book.
It does make me wonder, because we meet other members of the Lupo in the bonus chapters who are currently unaccounted for. So I am curious if we will see them on the page in future books. Nobody,
Yes.
no dead.
Nobody, no dead.
Them's the rules.
Mhm.
Them's is the rules.
Yep.
Amen.
But were either of you like immediately confused when they were talking about Foley and he being necessary to her plans? And I'm like, what?
No.
I was like, okay, I
was
my
so
brain
intrigued.
was like, what?
Confused in the sense that I didn't know, obviously, how it would connect, but I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, tell me more.
Yeah.
You know?
I love it. I love it.
Yep. Kingfisher takes Onyx back to Ceres, and the fox is injured. But, shock, Kingfisher has healing magic.
Perfect.
Quote, healing is a small magic for me. I waited for the current of magic to warm my palms. I'd used it to heal bruises when I was a failing. I'd used it to fix a broken thumb, and that had almost depleted my entire reserve of healing energy. When I was young, I'd complained to my mother that my healing gifts were so negligible, but she had laughed and ruffled my hair. Never doubt your powers, sweet one, she told me. Each one of them is a gift. Each one will prove exactly enough when you have need of it. Have faith in yourself. You will always be enough. Now, Kelly said this before. This entire chapter is foreshadowing to the end of the book when Ceres heals Onyx. But I point this out because, especially given Adina's importance in this book, anytime a story about her is mentioned, I feel like it is important, right?
Yes.
So
1000%.
exactly when you need it is exactly what she gives to Ceres throughout the book. She gives Ceres information exactly when she needs it.
Exactly.
Love it.
Say
Love
exactly
it.
one more time.
Exactly. We get more of an explanation of the magics. Quote, some members of the Fae don't have access to small magics. A small magic wasn't a part of a male or female's birthright like my shadows were. It was a much smaller well of energy, a faint affinity that a person might have toward a specific line of magic. Unlike birthright magic, small magic was a finite resource. Birthright magic, remember, we learn that only half gods can wield shadows. These shadows are Kingfisher's birthright. And it made me think, like, does no one else in Avelia know that or understand what he is?
Of course not, Lindsey. Nobody writes any shit down. Or if they did, Bellicon burns it all.
I was going to say,
I guess
Bellicon has
so.
taken the books, which I
But-
will say I was very happy about that because we complained
Harped.
ad nauseum in our Quicksilver coverage about, like, why did they not write anything down? They did, but a tyrannical ruler ruined it all for everybody. So
I did like
all
that
right,
nod.
there's a
I was like,
reason.
okay.
Thank
can
you.
accept
Oh, we
that.
should have put that one in our things we got right and got wrong. Darn it.
Oh,
Oh,
well.
well.
Darn it.
Okay.
But this whole explanation of birthright magic, small magic, completely new. Like,
Yes.
these terms were not used at all in Quicksilver. And I'm going to be honest with you, and we're going to go through, obviously,
Please, too.
in this deep dive, like, all these uses of what is considered a birthright magic or what might be considered some other, like, lesser or smaller magic of theirs. And there are some inconsistencies in what is considered a birthright magic, and I can't tell if it's like just an inconsistency or if it's just something we don't know. And I think we're going to dive into that specific topic a lot more when we get farther
Mhm.
along in our deep dives.
Yeah.
Saris is surprised that Kingfisher would use his small amount of magic to heal Onyx, and Kingfisher says, there isn't much I wouldn't sacrifice to make you happy, Osha. Swoon.
Beautiful.
Swoon alert.
Alert.
But
Alert.
also,
So
he
good.
is totally the dad that didn't want a pet and now cuddles the pet when he
Yeah.
doesn't think anybody is watching.
It's so true.
That's so good. That's so
I didn't
good.
want this small dog. Get
That's
that
so
dog
good.
away from here.
We move on after Onyx's wonderful healing, and Saris is getting ready to introduce herself to the court.
The
And she looks in a mirror. Quote, the strange creature staring back at me wasn't a woman. Not anymore. Once she might have been, but now she was a Fae vampire hybrid touched by the gods. I was the same as I had ever been, and yet I wasn't. Immortality might have cleaved the meat from the bones of others and made them willowy. It had filled out the parts of me that Zilvarin had starved. My cheekbones were rounder now, my lips fuller, and it did every time I caught myself in the mirror over the past 48 hours. My attention snagged on the tips of my pointed ears, poking through the dark waves of my hair. Reality seemed to warp and snap back into place whenever I saw them. In the end, I was just as Fisher's mother had drawn me. This was real. I was Fae. I was a vampire.
But, like, side note, where did she get this dress from?
Oh, I think the mother had it made. So remember one of those bonus chapters that
Probably.
we had where it's just like Kingfisher going to look for the boots for Carrion, and he mentions that there are dresses in his mother's wardrobe
Yeah.
that were clearly not her style and were like
But,
very
like,
much Saris's.
Lindsey,
I
why
think they were
don't you
made for her.
describe the dress,
Because-
though?
Yeah, because she says that this dress was made for sinning black and that the slit was so high that she couldn't even wear underwear.
Kingfisher's
Listen.
mama is
Listen.
a wing woman. All
I
the
was
If
gonna
way.
say.
Adina, yeah, like if Adina left her that dress, like she really wanted her son to like
Get it, boy.
get his jollies on,
Make
but
me
like
some grandbabies.
Yup. Listen, I told you that Adina was one of my favorites. This is proof. She was like, you know what? You know what my son's future mate needs?
Right?
A slutty little black dress.
right
Thank you,
for her
Adina.
coronation.
Yes, to show off in front of the vampire court who the F she is. I love you, Adina. A+
Also-
mother-in-law right there.
Also, as I was reading that quote, when it said my cheekbones were rounder, I then was almost about to say, and my tits fuller.
I'm kind of surprised she didn't say that, actually.
Yeah,
now
me
that I
too.
think about it.
Because I noticed that it said the tips of my ears, and that just went
tips.
in my brain.
Yeah.
Kingfisher says my tits are bigger.
Listen,
They're totally bigger.
they're totally bigger. This is all hilarious, and I don't want to ruin the hilarity of it, but also to get back to serious discussion, can I just say that I love the juxtaposition of the fact that she's like, oh, actually, most people like are willowy because becoming a vampire makes them look awful. But Zilvarin was so bad that it made me, I am better now.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
that's how bad Zilvarin was. And I kind of love that. It also could be a nod to the fact that she's not fully vampire. She's half and half. And so she gets a little bit of both. But I think it was kind of just beautiful imagery to put that in there to be like, no, Zilvarin really fucking sucked.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Kingfisher, Taledius, and Carrion all come into the room. That's a beautiful room, right?
This is a beautiful room. I want to be in that room. You know those things online where it's like, which table would you sit at? That one.
That table.
That table right there. That one.
Excuse me. That's my seat.
Excuse me.
Sarris addresses a huge elephant in the room for me right here. So she mentions that since Taledius is her maker, she can feel him in a strange way. And we talked at the end of Quicksilver about what is this whole like sire bond thing going to look like for her specifically, right? Zareth created her so she could be free of the gods. So then the idea of her being tied to some vampire via a thrall or a master, maker, sire bond, whatever, it didn't sit right with me. So I did like the fact that, yes, they could equally, I liked that there was an equal exchange, at least in this, sense each other's emotions, but never once was there ever a control Taledius was trying to exert over Sarris. And I appreciated that we didn't go there. That probably would have bothered me given the context of why she was made to be this hybrid if it had gone there. So I appreciated that it didn't.
Agree.
It's funny too, Katharine, that you say that, because one of the things that you were really stuck on at the end of Quicksilver was the fact that Sarris bit Taledius in the end. And you were like, I wonder what that will do to their bond. And it really didn't have any effect.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not actually upset with that. Like, I know there was a lot in Quicksilver about Malcolm controlling Taledius, but I also think that that's not an inconsistency for me, because Malcolm was the first vampire. He was something created that had never existed. I could see that kind of thing existing, and also recognizing that Taledius is not a terrible fucking person.
No, he's not.
If that existed, he didn't exert it himself.
Right.
Even though he was her maker. He never did that. So even if he could have, he didn't. And gold star, Tal. Good job. Good boy.
Good boy. Job.
Also mentions that Kingfisher looks different, saying that his hair seemed to have grown. And she says, quote, he felt bigger too, taller, broader, his presence even more imposing. Why? Why do we think that was thrown in there? Like a glamour? It seems strange. Like, why is he getting swole? Is it because he's got a mate now and he wants to be all protector of her? Why? Why?
This one I don't know the answer to. This one I don't really have a theory either way. This one is one that I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that he glamored. But I don't know. I got nothing.
Part of me thinks it's something about the mating bond snapping into place, and her being a fae and a vampire, and something about all of her senses being fully heightened and fully being able to see him truly as he is. That's just like the vibe I got. I didn't think it was anything else.
Like, her senses are more heightened, so she takes in more detail that she missed as a human.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
That's how I saw it. Like geez, I got glasses. Now I can see you better.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Amontria orth glasses.
Amontria's optical.
Optical. And I like the way that this was kind of flowed into the story. She reminds the readers that Carrion is now Fae. And Sarah says, for as long as I'd known him, Carrion had been hiding his lineage. The glamour Kingfisher's father had wrought. I'm saying it annoyingly for emphasis, and I will say it again normally. The glamour Kingfisher's father had wrought on him as a baby had held his whole life, concealing his true appearance. In fairness, he'd always been tall, but his ears had been rounded, his features less chiseled and sharp, his frame not quite so broad. The reality of him was taking some getting used to. Thanks to his run-in with Malcolm in the maze, the glamour had gone now, and the male was his natural true self at last. So we just talked about birthright magic, right? And this is the first instance where, one, it just says Kingfisher's father. Not Fenrin, just says Kingfisher's father. The word, and if you want to go look at our socials, we have a funny clip about this conversation that we had late night one day. The word Fenrin is not used in this book at all. But what's strange to me is there's going to be talk later in the book about Kingfisher's father's shadow magic. But here we have it on page, this mention of Kingfisher's father's glamour magic that he used on Carrion. So I have to wonder what's going on here. I think one thing we talked about is simply that we find out that his real father is a god. And honestly, gods are all powerful. So really,
Right. He could do anything.
kind of makes sense. A god can do anything, but I still am kind of curious. Like, I still want an explanation on page just to like tie a bow in it for me.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think let's not theorize it yet. Let's just point them all out because there are a lot of instances, and then let's all make
Noodle
our
it later?
guesses. Yeah, later on. Because there's a lot. And so as you guys, listeners, follow along, we'll point them all out to you, and then we can come back to it.
Discuss. There's also an interesting description of Kingfisher and Teladius here. Quote, they were of a height, the two males, just as broad, just as fearsome. They were similar in many ways, but where my mate was all darkness and quiet brooding, Teladius was light, his mood often easier than it had any reason to be. They were counterweights, perhaps, different sides to the same coin, but also different currencies: vampire, fae, maker, mate. I just really liked this comparison. I don't know if there's anything here to it, if this is just meant to give the reader a fun way to kind of visualize the characters in our brains, but I love this contrast. I think I love it the most because I love a black-haired male, as you both know, but I also love an ice blonde male in fantasy books, and we've got both, and I'm just really happy over here.
Yeah. Honestly, it felt like the angel and devil on her shoulders, like that kind of image to me. Like I think it was purposeful in the exact way that you said, Katharine, of like one is her maker, one is her mate. Like she has in most of this book two extremely important males in her life that are literally tied to her, not just my friend, not just like, yes, Hayden comes in and he's her brother, but there is a deeper connection that she has to both of these males. So I love that they are in so many ways similar and in so many ways stark opposite. I think it's pretty writing and I appreciated it. I see Kingfisher on one shoulder, hey, and Tal on the other. Oh, hey.
That's a nice shoulder you got there, Kelly.
Those are some nice shoulders. Taladaeus tells Saris that the vampire court is made of monstrous bureaucrats. Quote, which is why we have so many rules and why we stick to them so fiercely. Our court would be carnage without them. Tradition must be honored. The laws of the five must be obeyed. even by queens, he stressed. Only once she has that circlet on her head will she be in a position to effect change that will benefit all of Evelia.
It's just really interesting that he's saying all of that's going to help Evelia. I mean, I know he's a vampire. He's been a vampire for 1,000 years, but he was thinking of what would benefit Evelia, not the vampires.
Right, because
For
at the end of
sure.
the day, who is he tied to? Who was he going to be before he turned? He was going to be a Lupo.
He's
So
always loyal to Kingfisher and to
I
Sarah.
love it.
Once a wolf, always a wolf.
Oh. More information here about the court. Quote, 5 vampire lords ruled beneath the vampire monarch. They are called the Lords of Midnight. Taladeus was one of them. Regardless of sex, they had always been referred to as Lord, and apparently that was not changing anytime soon. I hadn't met the other lords yet. So Saris is speaking. I hadn't met the other lords yet, and truthfully, I had no desire to meet them either. From what I'd been told, they were savages, cutthroat and power hungry, and any of them would rip my head off for a shot at the crown. They were bound by the law of ascension, though. I kind of love this law. Thank you for writing this in. This made it very interesting. They had to acknowledge me first before they could try to steal my throne. And if they acknowledged me, they had to obey me, at least for a time. That meant there was a window, an opportunity, a chance to stop the war that had been raging for centuries, to put an end to the killing. Claiming the throne was the quickest way to stop the nightmare. I love this little caveat. I love this law. It is just, it's an interesting little plot point, and it definitely comes into play a lot throughout the book.
And it does kind of foreshadow the fact that she's even thinking of this is the easiest way to eliminate the vampire threat. Me using my power, this ascension power, to be able to control them.
100%. Saris hears the Quicksilver say she's here, but she decides to ignore it. Kingfisher hands her godsword Solace to her, and another non-mention of Kingfisher's father's name. The quote is, "It had belonged to Kingfisher's father." No name. Carrion says it's going to ruin her outfit.
Priorities.
Always looking out. I love him.
Girl.
Taladius says the court will see it as an act of aggression, which makes sense.
Fair.
Why does our queen need a sword? I get that. And why does she feel like she needs to protect herself, right? So instead, Kingfisher takes his dagger and straps it to Saris's thigh with his shadows.
Hot.
That was real hot.
Hot.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, it was hot. But
Oh,
Kingfisher shouldn't have access to his shadows where they are right now.
I don't disagree with you, Lindsey, at all. And I know it's written in a way of I have a little bit of access enough to do this. But literally in Quicksilver, it said my magic stopped.
No magic.
Dead.
Yeah. Yes.
And so the fact that he had access to any magic in Brimstone here, I struggled with that, given what we knew about Amontrieth in Quicksilver. Like it was literally
hot,
like
it was hot.
It was hot.
It was hot.
My reaction was not to the hotness, for sure.
The hot is hotting.
The hot is hotting. Let's talk about this weapon, though. The weapon is pure silver. But Sarah says that they have already realized that neither iron nor silver will hurt her, but they don't know if it's because she's something else or if it's because she's an alchemist. So something for us to noodle on. What is the reason there?
And more foreshadowing. Because the importance of her being able to touch silver and iron is going to be very important.
Super important. Doesn't matter why, but she can do it. That's going to come back.
Read a book, girl. It's probably in there. Ask Foley. He's read all of them.
Foley. We also get a reminder in this moment that Kingfisher is stripped of most of his magic here. Most. going back to that point that Katharine and Lindsey just made, including his portal magic. So he cannot create portals here. Very sad.
I wonder if, because we know the shadows are something that only a half god could do, since the portal is made of shadows, would that extend to the portal itself? Probably.
Good point. Is that why he can make the portals? You're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, like, is he
Possibly.
making a portal from, like, his I guess he is making it out of his shadow magic, so I guess it's all one and the same.
All connected. Could be.
I
love it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either, Lindsey. You're not alone. I will stand on that hill
I
with
don't
you
like
and
it.
rant.
I don't like it.
I
Okay.
will stand on the edge of the darn with you and scream,
it's a gap.
no
It's a gap.
magic.
Thank you.
It's a gap
All right.
in the magic that shouldn't be there.
The four of them entered the Hall of Tears. Quote, at the head of the room, a stately throne made of black stone sat at the center of a raised dais. Before it was an expansive platform of polished obsidian, decorated with a pale stone mosaic depicting a 5-pointed star. A Lord of Midnight already waited at the tip of 4 of the points, each dressed in finery facing inward. The remaining points stood empty, until Taladeus traversed the long aisle and took his place among his brethren. So, let's go over our 5 Lords of Midnight. We have Taladeus, the Keeper of Secrets, Aerith, the Keeper of Evenlight, who is a rangy-looking male with dark hair, a hooked nose, and eyes black as coal. He is a religious zealot that worships one of the demon gods. In fact, at the end of the book, we find out that Aerith was actually Styx's emissary in Avelia. Put a pin in that.
So wait, that was really interesting when he said demon gods, because we're introduced later to demons, and so I didn't really make that connection. Like you know how they talk about the witches having their own gods, right? And we have the 7 here, and then the demon talks about demon gods. So I was like, okay, wait, do we have another branch of like all other gods? I was like really confused at this point of being like, how many gods do we got here, people?
Yeah, I kind of feel like in my mind, I justify it as like these are Styx's like underling demons.
Like his actual demons, not just not gods,
Yeah.
but like his demon
half god
thingies. His devils.
And then we have Zovina, the Keeper of Missives. And Zovina is a female with bright golden hair and high cheekbones. And quote, Zovina was Lycian once, like Tal. He loved her. For her part, I think she loved him too. But that was a long, long time ago. We'll get into her.
We will.
Okay.
That bitch.
And I think it's important to note all of this is coming from Kingfisher right now. So he has a lot better perspective about all these details than somebody like Saris would.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Good point.
And then Algit, the Keeper of Records. She is small, with a thick mat of gray hair, bare forearms, frail wrists, and gnarled hands that make her appear old. She is, in fact, the youngest of them all despite her appearance. Kingfisher tells Saris that she was a witch once, but was cast out by her own people for meddling in dark magics. Algat can read your thoughts and memories.
Interesting.
I liked the fact that we found somebody who's a vampire that wasn't Fae originally.
True.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was just now a thing. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Witches can become vampires too.
It also just connected to me when I read that Algit can read your thoughts and memories, and so can Arisen.
Well, she was doing dark magics. Where do the dark magics lead you to?
I think I might need to noodle that one a little more. Okay.
But I also love how Kingfisher made a point of calling her out specifically as probably being the most dangerous among them.
Yes.
But I gotta be honest, yeah, she is a bit of that, but in a lot of her interactions, I thought she was really funny And I was like really struggling to take her as evilly serious because she's like, shut the door, the cat's gonna get out. And I was just like, she's kind of funny. She might be a killer, but she's funny.
She was very much no capes.
Yes.
I was gonna say
Yes.
Edna mode.
She's Edna mode.
Yes.
No capes.
But not
Okay.
as stylish, more like
No.
raggy.
Yeah.
She's a raggedy naturalist witch to me.
Yes,
Big glasses.
very much good.
Yes.
Yes,
She
yes.
either is British, close the door, the cat's gonna get out, or she's from Brooklyn.
British.
I want
Yeah.
you to say that in a Brooklyn accent.
Oh.
now. I
Close
was waiting
the
for
door,
it.
the cat's gonna get out.
Thank you.
Maybe British,
Perfect.
but it's one of
Yeah,
those two.
British.
It's very intense, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
It's very
She's like the witch from Merida.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's her.
Well, the only place we know of witches are like from the same place as the Balkidder witches,
Yep,
right? We don't
Valeria.
know of witches in any other
we
place.
don't. We don't. Not that I can remember. So yeah.
Okay. Anyways. And then the final Lord of Midnight, our favorite, the Hazrax.
We
I
are
need
Hazrax
An
stands.
artist drawing of this. Please.
I want fan art of the
Please.
Hazrax so badly.
I need
so
it
badly.
so bad. I need to
I'm gonna-
visualize this thing.
Yes.
On page.
The Hazrax is the keeper of silence. It is described as something else entirely. It is a long-limbed creature, a pale, strange thing that clearly was not a member of the Fae. It was dressed in a pristine white robe. Its eyes were solid black orbs, its skin translucent. An unnaturally wide slit served for its mouth, bristling with tiny, jagged teeth. Black veins formed a network of spider webs across the backs of its two large, webbed hands. The last of its kind, it is twice as old as anything else that draws breath in Evalia.
So sexy.
Oh, I love the Hazrax.
Okay, that's like makes it sound so scary and awful, but I love it.
Yes.
I have
love it.
to really wonder if Hazrax is one of the gods. And I
Mm.
might change my mind as we go through the deep dive, and I'm doing my second reread of it while we're deep diving it. But I wonder if it could potentially be Kurin, God of Secrets. I know he's not the god, he's not the Lord of Secrets, you know, he's Lord of Silence and what have you. I don't think it has to be taken that literally, given that's a vampire title or whatever, and he just does not like to talk. But I just have to wonder if, like, we know the gods went away somewhere, if maybe that's potentially where this god chose to go away to, because Malcolm was so scared of him. So I wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get the impression that it was a god only because the other gods that we've seen on the page, Zareth and Bal and Mithin, are in human form. And Saris even says that they are beautiful, and she would think for someone as old as Zareth that he would be gnarled and nasty. But she's like, he's really kind of pleasant and good looking and kind of in
But
pristine
they don't
shape.
have to be.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't, he wasn't godlike to me. I definitely think that there's some
It's creature-like.
strangeness. Yeah, it was more creature-like. I have a lot of questions about its intentions throughout the book, but I don't get god vibes from it. I don't know.
All right.
You're probably right.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
Still have to wonder.
There you go.
I can't lie. I think I had like a 10-second feeling of like, is the Hazrax a god or a demigod? So I don't know if I'm sold, Catherine, but I don't want to leave you alone because I did that thought did pop into my head. So I don't want to act like, oh yeah, Kat, that's such a crazy idea, because I had that idea for like 10 seconds.
I
don't
feel
know
like we just.
don't know if I agree with it, but it popped into my head.
But
So.
if we're right, we said it.
There
Hey.
you go. Perfect. It's
We
on
said it.
camera.
Yep.
So it was not Fae, but it wasn't vampire either. It had come to Malcolm centuries ago, back when the Vampire King was still in the throes of forging his empire, and had offered its services to the king. When Malcolm had asked if it wanted eternity in exchange, the Hazarak had sworn to destroy him if he tried to bite it. And Malcolm had believed every word. When the king had asked it what it wanted for in exchange for its fealty to Sanisroth, the Hazarak had said it wanted to watch. From that point on, the Hazarak had become the keeper of silence. Just yesterday, I had asked Teladius why the Vampire King had allowed the creature to remain in his court if he truly did think it capable of destroying him. He just shrugged. The Hazarak's magic is shrouded in mystery. No one here knows what it's capable of, but whatever magic or power it showed to Malcolm scared him enough to allow it to stay.
And that's another reason why I thought he was God, but also the observing you thing.
Yeah.
Because the gods are watching this whole rot thing play out. I think that was it was just the I want to watch thing. That was the thing for me, because it seemed like all of the gods are watching. We don't know where so many of them are. And so that was the key for me. Could still be wrong, but that was it, if you're wondering.
Yeah, where it came from. That's where it came
I like
from.
it. So all of them have a ring that signifies that they are a Lord of Midnight. Quote, see the ring on her hand, the thick band of gold with a purple stone? That marks her as a lord. All 5 of them have rings. They're a source of power gifted to them by Malcolm. Each supposedly contains the same amount of magic, though it's rumored that Tal's is the most powerful. Obviously, my guy, right?
Our guy.
I do have a lot of questions about this system.
Yes.
Because later on, when Saris has to find a new Lord of Midnight, like they just present themselves as whatever they want to be. So, like, what exactly is the court system here? Like, you just be like, I want to be the Lord of Lindsey, and now I am the Lord of Lindsey.
I'm going to be the Lord of reading books in the library. Don't bother
me. The keeper
me.
of books. But aren't there things that need to be kept? Like, shouldn't there be a set of positions here? Especially because you served for so long.
And they did acknowledge how his administrative system, Malcolm's, was terrible. They even say it on page. Like, dude is doing a bad job of running this kingdom.
Makes no sense.
Going back to systems that I also find confusing. Okay, so Fae have birthright powers, that are not supposed to exist in the Deadlands once we get to Amontreath, right, and Sanisroth. Tal has this power, we find out, of being able to control water. That sounds like his Fae birthright power. But does it just somehow transfer to a death magic power because he's a vampire? And concurrent with that question, which I'm not expecting an answer, but if you have one, love to hear it.
I do.
With the rings that give them power, what kind of power are we talking about here? And how is that? Is that like enhancing their own inherent power? Is that new power? What does the fucking ring do?
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that. In my mind, the reason Tal still had his power in Sanisroth and like Kingfisher didn't is because he was a vampire.
Yeah.
Like, that solved that for me, that
it basically like becomes a death power for him because he changed.
Right.
Okay.
And like Kingfisher didn't have his power because he's still Fae. Right. So that answered that. I don't have an answer to the ring thing.
Because they're like, because when they say like it's rumored that Tal's is the most powerful, I'm in my head thinking, yeah, but Tal himself is really fucking powerful. So, you know, does the wand make the wizard or?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna find out more either. I
don't think we are, because vampires are gone. Rings null and don't matter.
The rings to me don't matter. Although the rings must matter because Adina wanted to make sure that
Foley
Foley
had it.
got his ring.
And stayed as a vampire.
That's true. Maybe we
So-
will find out.
Maybe we will find about the rings, but that
Okay.
is a question
That was-
I
yeah.
still have.
Back to this scene.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
See, listen, we should start a podcast.
We could talk about all this stuff. We meet a woman who quite literally rivals Danya in bitchiness. Zovena. Haughty as fuck. And of course, she immediately challenges Ceres, quote, "This is not the creature who felled my father," she said. "Mighty Malcolm," what a stupid name, "Mighty Malcolm, who reigned over an entire continent and reduced another to ash. Malcolm, who toppled kings, bedded queens." What? Okay.
What?
"And cheated death so that we might all follow in his footsteps. Laid low by this? I think not." And Ceres has the best speech and drop mic moment where she basically says, "Bitch, my name is Ceres Fane and I am your queen." Boom.
Bow down.
Boom.
Say what you will. I'm your queen.
But Zovena, channeling Danya, continues to argue, saying, quote, "Ours might be the youngest court in this realm, but Sanasteroth has always prided itself on its traditions. For thousands of years, we were ruled over by the first vampire, a brilliant male who carved out a home and a future for his children and earned us all the right to belong. He wasn't just a king, he was a walking god among the living and the dead of this realm. And this girl was human mere days ago, so weak that one of our own had to save her life." She sent a look of full naked malice in Teladius's direction. How do we replace the creator of our entire species with this?
I mean, listen, she doesn't go about it in the nicest way possible, but I also kind of get where she's coming from.
Yeah, I mean,
in
she
this
is 24.
moment.
Ceres is 24.
Like, he did
Yeah.
create an entire race of beings, and now they're like, who the fuck are you?
Right. Who?
Like, so
Yeah. But honestly, that was your rule, you stupid vampires. You really
Yeah.
should have thought ahead
Right,
if you
right.
didn't want it to end up this way, and your mighty Malcolm ended up headless.
yeah,
Mighty
and again,
Malcolm.
he was so mighty, you couldn't topple him. I could, so clearly I deserve this spot.
Right.
But like from Zovena's perspective, I kind of a little bit
Yeah.
get where she's coming
But
from. here.
also, we found out in the Maze bonus chapter that Zovena herself had been going through the motions of trying to topple Malcolm. Like Tal was having that conversation with Kingfisher saying that she's up to stuff. So
Yep.
she's like giving this, I feel like she is so posturing to the entire court right here. She's talking out of her ass basically because she just wants to do this to make a play for power. She doesn't believe mighty Malcolm, her precious father. She was literally trying to topple him while he was alive.
Yeah. Oh,
Like- You're a shitster and don't even think you're anything else.
she is embarrassed that this 24-year-old who was just a human did what she couldn't do in however fucking long she was trying to do it, and she's being petty AF.
Mm-hmm.
That's who she is.
But I will correct you on one thing, Kelly.
Mm.
25. She just had a birthday.
Ooh, she turned 25. You're right. 25, okay?
A quarter of a century.
Wow, and they're like, I'm 3,000 years old. They're not that old, but
Well, they
Anywho.
continue to argue back and forth. And at one point, Ceres even tries to show them that she can make her heart stop beating,
yeah.
which is a cool trick, but also, I don't like it. Don't do that, girl. Please stop. It's not good for your body. They decide that Ceres needs to drink. And I was actually really worried here, like, that her drinking was going to somehow, like, make her more vampire in a bad way, like make
Oof.
her really
Yeah.
prisoner to like blood urges. So when I first read this, I was like, oh, I'm really afraid of what this blood will do to her, because she talks about how she didn't need to feed. I liked that we didn't go there, because again, if she was created to be this thing that the gods couldn't control, I didn't like, and for her own free will, I didn't like something as petty as like a bloodlust to be something that controlled her, because she's special. So she decides to drink. She
Special.
takes Kingfisher's wrist, sinks her, and you guys remember at the end of Quicksilver when I'm like, I hope she bites him. And
We
she
have a
do.
clip. She's
She
gonna
do.
bite back, you said. Equality. It was one of my favorite things you've ever said.
Equality. She sinks her fangs into him, but she does not drink at first. Quote, in those long, heady moments, I hadn't realized that I wasn't taking anything from him, that I was giving something to him instead. I blinked as black ink shifted beneath Kingfisher's skin. Pouring like water down his arm, it banded his wrist and then disappeared, transferring to me. I felt the cool prickle of it settling right in the center of my chest, just below my collarbone, but I didn't care about the new ink. And I gotta be honest, I'm really confused every single time they get new ink.
Yes, me too. Tattoo watch for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
tattoo watch.
I really
Ink
would have
watch.
appreciated if every time we got a new one, we somehow got a magical explanation of what it means, like why it was transferred, like what prompted this to transfer, what does this signify, why does this appear, like why?
Yeah. Didn't they say something later about like how it's like the intensity of the moment or something like that? But I feel
Kingfisher's like, it
it's-
happens when you think dirty thoughts. And I'm sorry.
That's not.
No.
That's
Not
not all
buying
it
it.
is.
No, not buying
No.
it. Mm-mm.
No, I think it has to be connected to like the intensity and the magnitude of the moment in terms of
They're
it being a milestone towards the bigger picture.
But it
for some
happens
reason.
too many times in this book for
Yes.
that to be the case for me.
like, honestly,
happens
it's
a
good
lot.
fucking, but you don't get a tattoo every time you get a
Yeah.
good lay.
Listen, if you're
I mean, you
obsessed with
can.
tattoos, you
I'm
probably
not your mom.
do.
You do it. You do
You're
you.
not my mom, okay?
We get another quote from Kingfisher's perspective. There was a new tattoo on her chest, a thin black line that marked her skin from one shoulder to the other, right below her collarbone. Just a simple line, but somehow striking. Random line. Oh, is that to signify her non-beating heart? Like in a, like the beep, beep, beep at all, at
yeah,
a,
right. In the
at a
hospital.
flatline.
Flatline, no heart. I don't know, but I kind of think it's beautiful, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want one, but that's a totally
Kelly,
different
no.
conversation.
Kelly, no.
I love it. I love it.
Kelly, no. You can get the bird. You can get the bird.
Oh, I don't want a bird. Not that bird. Anyway.
Yes. Well, we get a great quote because all of us were probably reading this being like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on and why are they getting a like random boner in the wild? Like, okay, what exactly is causing this?
Boner watch.
When I drew from Fisher for the first time, pulling at his wrist, I felt the reversal of flow between us, the changing of a tide. As soon as his blood touched my tongue, an explosion of color and sound lit up inside my head like 1,000 fireworks. Fire chased through my veins, need pulling between my legs, sending a rush of pleasure through my body so powerful that I wanted to scream. So yes, it just makes them really fucking horny. And they got a tattoo for it.
This is like a bad spring break story. They're horny and they got tattoos.
But to make it make sense, she stuck her teeth in him and didn't suck. And so she dosed him and got him horny. But then she did drink his blood. So he got her horny. And they got horny together.
Yes, exactly.
There's the explanation for you, people.
Thank you.
So
That was perfect.
That was
she
succinct.
drinks, and they
There's
crown her.
venom. There's venom in her fangs.
Congrats.
Just get
we
over
got
there.
horny
Yes.
together, and I got a crown.
And all I got was this stinking tattoo.
Nope, she got a crown too.
And
she
a
got
crown,
a crown
that's true.
too.
All I got was
She
this
is-
crown and this stinking tattoo.
She was officially crowned queen.
She was. And Aerith is actually the one who crowned Ceres with a golden diadem. And Kingfisher doesn't quite trust him at all. And the Quicksilver tells him, be patient. Side note here, we have a quote. Ever since Telena had partnered with Ishabel to tease the Quicksilver out of me, the whispering in my head had been less frantic, sharper, easier to understand. Together, Healer and Witch had achieved what neither had been able to accomplish alone. The thread of Quicksilver that lingered inside of me no longer made me feel like I was hanging on to my sanity by my fingernails. For the first time since it had infected me as a youth, I had begun to think of the Quicksilver as more of a blessing than a curse. Love that quote.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yes.
Do you think that was a little easy? Because we brought it up at the end of Quicksilver with how Ishabel and Telena together with the whole fixing his Quicksilver problem, when throughout all of Quicksilver, even the Quicksilver itself was telling Kingfisher and Ceres, like, no, I can't be separated from him. It'll kill him if I am. And it's kind of just like an issue that's resolved kind of neatly, and the Quicksilver really doesn't bother him at all in Brimstone. And I don't know, that one was wrapped up a little bit easy for me.
It did feel that way at the end of Quicksilver when this was mentioned, but throughout Brimstone, it didn't bother me as much because I think it made me realize that the Quicksilver was only a small part of like a much bigger picture that we're looking at. Like in Quicksilver, the Quicksilver was everything. So like when we learned that it was going away, it seemed like you said, that was way easy. Like, why Quicksilver is everything. But now that we have so many other elements in play, it's given me a larger picture and a larger context that it doesn't bother me as much anymore.
I guess we gave it more importance perhaps than it should. Like, it's only one of those prima between Quicksilver, Brimstone, Salt. It's not the end all be all.
Right. Yep. Yeah, for sure. I also think that what would make me happy about this, I'm not bothered by it. Do I think it could have been a little bit more? Yes. But what I think will make me happy is if this concept and this quote that we just got comes back into play later in the plot, where Healer and Witch or Alchemist and Witch can do things together, and that the reason why it was like, oh, it was easy, we did this together and now that worked, was to be foreshadowing of something bigger that's going to need to be achieved by that combination. And so that would make me happy if that ends up coming together. If it doesn't, I won't be so bothered by it for what you said, Lindsey. I think it's bigger picture.
I think I just wanted that big moment. And when we see Ceres finally control the Quicksilver, like almost like checkmark master that one, right? Seal that rune. I almost wanted that to be more of what would have resolved the Quicksilver issue with him. That could have been like a bigger moment for me.
Okay.
I let it go, basically.
Yeah. I think it also turns the Quicksilver from a negative to a positive. Like the Quicksilver was very negative in the first book, but now the Quicksilver is part of a positive solution that Ceres is going to have to use moving forward. And if the Quicksilver was still affecting Kingfisher in that way, we would be very conflicted about it. And so I think that now that that's gone, we can fully see it as a positive force.
Yeah.
I love that.
And
I really like that.
Lindsey, you'll be really happy to know that the reason why the Quicksilver was negative, because people didn't read books about it and didn't learn properly about the Quicksilver and how to seal the rune. And if you're just going to badger the thing, it's going to badger you back.
It's like, just read my diary. Just find out a little bit more about
me. Come on. Yeah, 100%. Kingfisher sees Aerith with a blade in his hand, about to kill Ceres. So he
stupid.
hurls his god sword, Nimrel, through the air and slices Aerith in half. I have a very important question. Half from head to foot or half in the middle? Because I need to know.
No, I'll draw a picture.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, and if you
This
guys
is
don't realize
important.
this, Lindsey's pictures are famous.
What do you see? Is he
amazing.
slicing him off at the hips? Or I'm
No.
seeing it down from like in the middle
But
of the
also,
head.
dude, are you
down.
a fucking idiot? What did you think was
Who,
going to
Aerith?
happen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
His leg is really oddly shaped in my photo, but this is what I saw.
Oh, interesting. So from the
Oh.
armpit across.
It was like a cross this way, which I realize that this is his leg should go this way. So
Yeah. Okay.
But it was like a
You saw it as like
because-
from under the armpit to across the
yes,
other hip.
because I feel like in my mind it like slid down, like, and that's really yucky.
Yeah. See,
That
I
is
think
really
I saw it
yucky.
as like your throat, like you're doing axe throwing and it just goes straight and like hits him in the head and just slices him down. And in my head, the
Remember-
body's split in half.
Aerith.
Do you remember in Terminator 2 when he
And then he like closes back up.
Yes. Like zippers, like it's a zipper.
That's what's gonna happen to Bellicon later. Foreshadowing.
Oh, foreshadowing. Okay.
But
well, now
really,
that we
he just sits on the ground and he's basically like, "You think this thing can stop me?"
All right. Well, listen, now that we have that very, very important theory out of the way, I shall continue. We are going to assume that the reason that Aerith wanted to kill Ceres was that
He's
he wanted
stupid.
to take the crown. Well, yes, he's stupid, and he wanted to take that crown. I know we mentioned it earlier, but since we found out that Aerith is Styx's emissary, Kingfisher killing him in this moment is very, very big and very, very important. So put a pin in that.
But also, Dad, she was gonna kill my girlfriend. Like, come on.
And, gotta protect my girl. Okay, this whole thing also really makes me wonder if it was the master plan of Styx. Because remember that the brother says that Styx's power was diminished because of Aerith's death. Could this power have been the Stannisroth crown? What do we think here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did,
He knows something.
like, basically almost like it was a conduit, really,
Mhm.
to which those Lords of Midnight and the Pentagon Star really
Yeah.
channeling power down. But my Hazrak's god theory would obviously not be floating unless he's working with another god in this whole plan.
Mhm.
So I'll just throw out Hazrak's could be one of those demon things.
Yep. Could be a demon thing.
Yeah, I don't think I thought about it as pretty as power through the five and shadows and everything. I think in my mind, Styx saw it as a way to get power in the overland, that as an underland god, he had never been able to take that power before.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is interesting because when you think about that, I guess to your point, Lindsey, it's death magic. It's not a rot. The vampire land is not like a rot thing, which all of the gods are trying to eradicate from the tree, right? This is just a different type of magic. So I guess I kind of like what you're saying is like it's just channeling more magic or whatever it is that Styx needs to his realm.
It's not even channeling to me. It is literally that he wants
Like an expression
power.
of it.
No, it's not. It's more literal than that. It is that there is somebody that he can control in Stannisroth. And now if he has an emissary who's the king, he has power in that place. Not power in the sense of like shadow power, but like political power.
Political
like
power,
to me,
yeah.
it's political
end?
power.
But
Who
to
knows?
what end? Like, why would
Mm.
it seems such a small thing to a god to, like, they've got a whole tree with trillions of souls to worry about an emissary in one court and one realm seems so
Listen,
petty and small.
Because we
What's
don't know.
going on?
We don't know.
Yeah.
Is this just the center of the universe?
It is the center of the universe. I think that we just don't know what we don't know yet, and so we'll find out.
That is accurate. He's either alive or he's dead, people.
Listen, it's either left or right, alive or dead. One of these things is true, right? All
Cover our
right.
bases.
Well, cover all of the bases. Well, 3 of Aerith's thralls, is that the right word here? Right? They try to help him, but Tal shows us a very interesting power.
So
He has,
hot.
oh God. Why are all the males in this book, not all, but so many of the males in this book are obscenely hot. He has power
phase.
over liquids and boils their blood from inside their bodies. First of all, hot in like a sexy way, and like hot in like a, you literally boiled their blood in their body. That's hot.
That is morally gray if I've ever heard it.
Morally, kind of black
That is
in that
touch her
moment.
and die.
Great, don't go near her. Aerith says that Ceres is cursed, and Kingfisher shows him their god bindings, informing him that she is in fact the opposite. Quote, they haven't denounced her. They have safeguarded her. This is a big reveal. And Aerith responds and says, quote, we have different gods before his body turns to ash.
Which I find is such a weird thing to say, because even if he's talking about Styx, Styx is one of the 7 gods. So is it like, is he like, what is he really truly meaning by that statement? Is just the god that I prioritize in the
I think so.
in the Corcoran?
That's how
Yeah.
I took it. Yeah.
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 He clearly doesn't know who Kingfisher is. Truly.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. Don't think so.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody does.
No.
No.
Well,
I bet his
I
mommy
think
does.
that the Lupo
Hazrax,
does.
maybe.
I think that the Lupo do.
Oh, yeah?
You think?
I do. I do, because I think
Ooh,
that
that's interesting. Okay.
given the conversation, and this is way down the road, sorry, but given the conversation that Lorith tells Ceres where to
you're
find
right.
Brimstone,
Yes.
even Danya
Yes,
knows
yes,
where
yes,
to
yes,
find the
yes.
Brimstone. I think that the Lupo have to know who he is because
That's
of
true.
that.
That's true. That's true.
I
That's
like
right.
it. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Sarah stands up and announces that whenever someone in court sees her, they will greet her on their knees.
Yeah,
She
girl.
also announces that all members of the court are forbidden from harming her and her friends. Her last pronouncement is that no feeders may be used for war, malice, or mayhem. I love that word, mayhem, thrown in there for good measure.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
She
fuck
is-
around, guys.
Yes,
No
exactly.
fuckery. No vampire fuckery.
It reminds me of, what's the show? What's one of my favorite shows? With Cillian Murphy.
Oh, Peaky
Peaky
Blinders.
Blinders.
And Peaky Blinders, before his wedding, when he's like, no fucking fighting. No
Yes.
fucking fighting.
No
No
fucking
fucking fighting. That's what she's doing here.
No
Anyway,
fucking fighting.
no
I love
fucking
that.
fighting. Okay, anyways. She is now queen, so they have no choice but to obey. Kingfisher returns to Erin and tells Renfis and Lorith that Ceres dosed her, and they razz him about his blue balls.
Hilarious. That's
This
good
is
friends.
such a good, like, brotherly friendship scene to me.
Mhm.
I love it.
Bro, you got hard
Yeah.
on the throne?
On the dais? That's cringe, bro.
I love it. Well, and because we've also, like, clearly they're brothers, but we've seen them in such, like, a battle brothers type relationship before, that now that we see them in this, like, true friendship brothers, I just love it.
Yeah, it gives a different level.
Yeah. The 3 Lupos discuss fully. During the Battle of Agen Gate, he fell off a Namshakrai, and the feeders drank from him. As a mercy, Tal turned him. For years, they tried to reach out to Foley, but their letters went unanswered. They need him because Foley's grandfather was the last known alchemist.
That's
Convenient.
interesting. I know.
Since Bellicon burned all of the alchemy books, they are relying on Foley to have some information that might help Ceres.
But the library is an even better source, so.
Oh,
I love it.
love it.
Our favorite character, sarcasm sign, Danya, bursts into the tent and tells them to come with her because there are 8 feeders about to attack, but they're unlike anything we have ever seen. They are moving in total unison. And we want to make a note that this is the only time the feeders move in sync during the book. And we have to wonder if there's something different about this group, if they're being controlled specifically in this moment, if it's because where they came from, what's going on that's making them act in unison. And there is this toxic feeling in the air. Obviously, they attack. Renfist releases his light magic. Kingfisher releases his shadows. But instead of hurting them, the 8 beings actually take it all in. Quote, that's exactly
That was me
the quote.
sucking it in. Yeah.
That was the quote. That's it. We don't even need the quote. That was it.
I wasn't expecting that, and it like freaked me out.
That's something to hear in your ears. That was a big slurp, too.
Should I do it again? I don't know if I could.
No.
Lindsey says no. All right, go ahead. No, Kath, give us the quote. Give us the quote.
Okay, yes. Quote, and where the orb of magic had hit their chests, a network of brilliant white magic fissured outwards across their ribs. The 2 feeders shuddered, and then suddenly all 8 of them bore the same white convergence of power. Tried to pull my shadows back, but I couldn't. The feeders drank them in and held on tight to them. A metallic black sheen swirled at the center of their chests, rolling amid the white energy that they had taken from Renfist. So stop using magic on them. They like that.
They sure do.
Nimrel even feels this. Quote, but where Nimrel bit through the flesh, a thick black substance crystallizes along the blade like frost. Nimrel screamed, and realizing that this is literally Morel's soul, that would have been a gut-wrenching sound to hear, that his friend's soul is literally screaming in this instance.
Yeah.
I heard it in my mind, deafening and full of pain. Nimrel shook so violently that the vibrations traveled all the way up my arms and rattled my teeth.
Ooh, so good. We get a quote. Even without her magic, Nimrel should have caused the feeder immense pain. She was both silver and iron. I could only hold her because of what transpired at Agen. The part of the feeder that had once been Fae should have recoiled from the iron, though. The part of it that was vampire should have been affected by the silver, but nothing. This is extremely interesting because remember that Ceres is the same, exactly the same. She is not affected by either silver or iron. So clearly, these beings are also something new, like Ceres. What do we make of that?
Ooh, I had a thought. I had a thought just by you saying that stuff.
Or.
Okay, so go with me on this one. So the Zareth created Ceres because she could be something that the gods could not manipulate. It was something that didn't exist in the universe.
Yes.
And as you said, iron doesn't affect her, silver doesn't affect her. In this instance with these feeders here and whatever rot has taken over them, right? Nimrel cannot work, which makes sense. It's a god sword. And the gods cannot control this rot on their tree. They are trying to stop it, but they have no control over this rot that is infecting their universe. It's something that should not exist in their universe. So, if the rot is something in this universe like what Ceres is in this universe, and that's the reason why they can't control it, Zareth created Ceres. Gods can't control her. What, or maybe who other god created the rot And is that our ultimate baddie?
Ooh, I like that. I
Yeah,
like
so
that.
remember back in the end of Quicksilver when Malcolm and
The
Madra
source.
and Belicon, the source, and we had a lot of conversations about the
Yep.
source. And I, somewhere in our episode outlines, have in here, where's
the
this
source?
source,
Yeah.
right?
This could be a nod
Yeah.
to it.
And maybe it
I love
really
it.
is the
Because-
source. What is the source? The source of the rot.
Yeah, because
And all the things.
Madra may have been using magic all this time and may be sending these rotted
Yes.
feeders, but she definitely isn't responsible for creating them.
I
No.
agree.
No.
Right?
I
She's
agree.
working for somebody.
Yes. Yes. For
And
sure.
even
She's just
Belicon,
part of the trio.
Even Belicon, with his difficulty to fucking kill, is not that ultimate baddie to me.
100%.
He's bad, but he's not the bad guy. He's a bad guy, but he's not the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Agreed.
He's an underboss for sure.
They try fire and it does burn these feeders, but that's it. Danya and Kingfisher both get heavily burned in this process too. Kingfisher, ever the saint, tells Talena to heal Danya first, and Danya's hair is very badly burned in the fight. And as much as I can't stand Danya, I kind of feel bad for her in this moment. Katharine clearly doesn't,
I don't.
but I do.
But it's
I
just the
don't.
fact that Sarah just walks in and sees half her hair shorn off.
No, don't get.
It's just so funny. And now I can't read this scene without thinking about that scene.
I feel
and I still laugh.
bad. No, I feel bad.
But she's fine. She literally is fine. She's totally healed. And all she's pissed about is her haircut. So I don't feel bad for her.
I don't know. Listen, you shit on people, you get shit on back. I don't
Yeah.
really feel bad for her
Bitch had it coming.
at all.
There you go.
Kinda.
Okay.
I mean, is it awful to get burned in a fire? Yes, but I
Right.
don't feel bad
But
for
you're,
her.
but did you die?
But did you die?
Renfis and Lorith come into the tent and fill Kingfisher in on the aftermath of this fight. The bodies of the 8 feeders are trussed to a tree, and their heads are in a sack down by the river.
Imagine finding that sack, like stumbling upon the head sack.
Ew. Okay.
Disgusting.
Well, I mean, it's a good plan. They won't stop moving.
Right.
I love that they're like, it says that they're biting their way through the sack. though.
Awful.
I wanted to hear the conversation. All right, take that over there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Awful.
Half of the camp is in ruins and 114 are dead.
Ugh.
And the tree that they are tied to is started to rot. Although I will say that the actual word rot isn't used here yet, but that's what the description of it is.
Mhm.
And Renfis and Kingfisher get into an argument about Taladeus here. Renfis is accusing him of being responsible for the 8 feeders, but Kingfisher absolutely defends him.
Good.
It is revealed in this moment that Tal was once part of the Lupo, but chose to leave it and go with Malcolm. And we'll get more of that story later.
Yeah. Chosen quotes for sure. But yeah.
Going back to the feeders, it seems strange to me, given that this is literally days after Sarah's interaction with Zareth, right? Where she's first introduced to this concept of rot on the tree, right? It does not exist in this realm prior, right? And then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, this rot has started to spread and is coming to this realm. I had to wonder, maybe with my reread, I'll get an answer that wasn't like just obvious to me on my first read. What was the catalyst? What changed where, yes, the rot is on the tree, but it's not in this realm. And then days later, it's here
There
and
it
it's
is.
literally taking over everything. It was so sudden. I need a catalyst. I need an explanation. Like, what the fuck happened?
Is it the choice that Saris made? Because Zareth gave her she had a choice, right? To come, like, they all made a choice at the end of Quicksilver. And so I'm wondering if that choice sent them down a couple of different paths, and this path sent them
So
down here.
you're gonna suffer, but you're
But you're
gonna
gonna like it. Yes. I mean, do I think that they knew this was gonna happen? No, but I just
No,
think that
absolutely not.
it wasn't here before, but Saris and Tal and Kingfisher made a choice that changed, I think, potentially the path of fate. And so,
Yeah, and I mean, I think this kind of goes back to the fact that God's fucking with stuff also fucks with stuff.
right.
Kingfisher and Lorith bring the absolute best present ever to Amantria, a bag of severed heads for show and tell.
Beautiful.
To show Saris, Carrion, and Tal. Kingfisher asks Carrion to leave. Of course he does. And Carrion reminds him that he is the rightful heir to Evalia. Even though he has no desire to rule the throne, he still wants to know what is going on. And I don't think he's fibbing here. I think that he is one of those people where he understands the importance and the weight of being the actual rightful king and heir to this throne. And I don't think he takes it lightly. So it's one of those instances where those who are reluctant to rule end up being the best rulers, right? I don't think he takes any of that for granted. So I get the impression that when he says here, he doesn't want the throne, I bet he truly does not want it. Is he going to shirk that responsibility? No, I don't think he is. But I kind of like that he doesn't want it, that he's not power hungry, that he's not grabbing for it. I like that he understands and respects the importance of it. Or at least that was my impression.
Yeah.
Obviously, our smart boy Carrion, always paying attention, always reading his books. And he points out that the feeder heads aren't Evalian.
No.
They're Zilvarin. They have the same sterilization mark that Saris has on her neck, on her ear, and they have rounded human ears, which I find hilarious that nobody noticed the very, very obvious freaking rounded human ears on the heads of these 8.
They were paying attention to the fact that they were running towards them in sync
out of a bag.
Well, our boy Carrion misses nothing.
Carrion,
He's on the ball.
yes, you're right.
Yep. Kingfisher tells them that obviously this is Madra's doing. This is somehow how the rot has gotten here. Maybe. And she's purposefully infecting the lands. Now, Saris wasn't aware of any rot in Zilvarin. Granted, she was very isolated to her ward. But I feel like Carrion, I feel like it would have been a little bit more well known if rot was prevalent in Zilvarin. So I don't know how I feel about this total theory that it came 100% from Zilvarin, but I do think Madra is sending it there now. And that's
but it's Kingfisher that says it, not Carrion. So, like, where did he get that? Where did Kingfisher get that information from?
That's kind of what it is. It's like, this is his point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not infallible. Take it with a grain of salt. He could be wrong.
I don't know.
You know?
Has he been wrong yet, though?
But he isn't, as far as we know. I mean, technically, it's not confirmed that it's from Madra.
True.
Well, it is kind of, since her soldiers come through at the end.
But they come, her soldiers come through, and we know she is that wheel, but we don't know that it originated from there or that is her original doing. She, again, can just be this extension of this greater power.
I don't think he means in this moment that it's her, that she's like the ultimate, that it's her ultimate doing.
Yeah.
I think he means more that
she's involved.
She's involved. Like, this is obviously her doing, kind of thing.
But I still struggle with sudden. Very sudden. No rot in Evalia, no rot in Zilvarin. Somehow rot is now coming from...
Yeah. There's got to be a bigger...
Yes. Yeah. Where's it coming from?
Catalyst.
Well, if the source decides we're switching gears, people, here's what power I'm giving you, and you're going to wield it I wonder if that's what's happening to your
Yep.
source point from earlier. Is he interesting? Well, we get some new interesting information about Ceres in this chapter. Quote, I could stand to be out on the terrace in the early morning daylight, but not for long. Once the sun was high overhead, I found myself exhausted to the point of nausea, and I couldn't bear the direct light on my skin. I could still eat, but my appetite for food was much decreased, which I hated. I feel you, girl. And I could deny it as much as I liked. I didn't have to feed to survive the way Teladius and the other members of the Stannis Rothian court did, but I wanted to. Since I'd awoken, a vague curiosity had slumbered within me, and now that I had fed from Fisher, it seemed to have stirred and was stretching its legs. I picture a cat like waking up and stretching. I love that.
Well, there is a cat that likes blood, so
Guru. Even now, my throat felt scratchy as if I was coming down with a cold. Mm. Sarah talks about her love for Kingfisher. We get, quote, this was two stars colliding, the end of everything and the beginning at the same time.
This is also really interesting wording because foreshadowing, his name is Gray Star.
It sure is.
Part of his real name is Gray Star. And so if you think about, like, I'm actually just thinking about to the end of Quicksilver when she goes through her transformation, there's a lot of celestial language there.
Yes.
And now it's talking about like this is two stars colliding. So the fact that his name ends up being Gray Star is really interesting.
I love that. I love that.
Ceres also hears the Quicksilver in this chapter and finally gives into it, asking if there is a pool in Amontreath. They realize that they can now quickly travel between Amontreath and Kalish or Erin, so she quickly makes relics for everyone. They go back to Kalish and get ready for a very adorable found family dinner.
so cute.
And when Ceres enters the room, everyone on their own level is happy to see her, and it chokes Ceres up in that moment. It's really sweet because, as sad as it is, she just isn't used to having friends. Poor thing.
Yeah. I
So,
know.
a couple of interactions to call out specifically, okay? Ceres is surprised when Renfis hugs her, thinking that he hadn't visited her when she woke up in Sanisroth. And so I think in her mind, she thought that he didn't like her anymore because she was a vampire now. And so it's really sweet that he hugs her.
Which is so silly because it's like, girl, you could blame Kingfisher. He made Tal bite you. It's not your fault. And if Kingfisher is okay with you, obviously his Lupo are going to be okay with you. And also, they're your friend. They're not going to abandon you.
Right, but she
Yep.
don't know that because, like you said,
She doesn't
Lindsay,
trust.
she's never had
not
she's
used
never
to
had friends. She doesn't know the love of
She's
friendship.
never had time for friends.
Right. She's been pretty busy keeping her and her brother alive.
Yeah. Ceres sees tension between Ishabel and Lorith, and Ishabel says that it is his story to tell. Noted, although we don't find out what that story is, but I'm very curious to find out what it is later on. Taelena and her mate, Maynir, are there. Taelena says that Everlane is still sleeping and couldn't seem to wake. And now this moment that Katharine was talking about earlier, Danya's hair has been burned off, and Sarah says, oh, nice, like, edgy new haircut, basically. And Danya's like, no, the length of your hair is directly related to your skills in battle. And basically, I'm glad that you're alive, but really just because we need an alchemist.
Well, you know what, Danya? If it's related to your skills in battle, guess you better practice some more.
Guess you've got work to do, bitch.
Yep.
Danya.
Does it bother anybody else? This is the first mention about the scent. Sex.
Yes.
I didn't like that being constantly harped on because I'm
Me
like,
too.
what is with this judgment? Like, I'm sorry that you're not getting any, but you need to stop fucking smelling me just because I am. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah. You'd think that they'd be
Just
used
stop.
to
Used
it.
to
Like,
it.
if you
Yes.
truly can smell
Yes.
it, like, it
Yes.
should be
It's not the
normal.
end. Is it because it's their like fearless leader who like never like
Like,
had people like did he
Get
not
over
take
it.
ladies to
Yeah.
bed? Like yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying.
Yeah, same.
like,
Mhm.
stop
Totally.
talking about it. It's kind
Yep.
of, stop talking about sense of sex.
Yes, 100%. All right. Well, I feel like we need to take a moment here to address the elephant in the room about some of Brimstone's criticisms online. There are a few inconsistencies in the book, and we have caught some of them. And one of them, the first one actually, is in this moment. We get a quote. When I'd first dined in this hall, Archer had damn near had a heart attack when he'd discovered me sitting in the seat on Fisher's left, but that was precisely where he led me now as he guided me to the table. Compare this to a Quicksilver quote. I was sitting where I always sat now, to the right of Fisher's chair. That seat is reserved for the lady of the house. This is a very obvious inconsistency that a lot of people have called out the author and the editing team for. But we would like to offer up another possible theory here. What if these types of little inconsistencies are there on purpose? Hear us out. We later learn in regards to Carrion that the gods have messed with his timeline. So what if the gods are messing with even more? There's also another inconsistency here in this chapter. Tay Lena's mate is introduced to us in this book as Maynir, but in book 1, he's introduced as Yaz. Okay. Throughout our coverage, we are going to point out these inconsistencies and then wrap them up in a theory as we get closer to episode 4. Again, could there be some inconsistencies and some mistakes? Yes, there are sometimes mistakes and editing mistakes in many books that are out there.
Yep.
However, could be intentional. And we have even seen recent interviews with Callie on her Brimstone book tour where she is very carefully saying everything is in her book for a reason. And so that makes us think, let's offer this alternative option just in case and see where it takes us. So more to come.
Yeah. It's not just the gods for me, too. I think that there's something else in
Mhm.
Yeah.
play.
I like that.
But
I like that.
I did love it when Carrion talked through his timeline and issue because I literally made a reel about those
Yes.
exact dates, and I got so giddy reading that passage, being like, "That's my date. That's what I noted that too. You're right,
Did you
Carrion. Thank
Did
you."
you feel like he was talking directly to you?
I felt like he was talking to me, saying, "You're not crazy, Katharine. You are right. I am 1,095 years old. You got it right. These guys are wrong, and the gods are fucking with the time." Because I ended it with, "Time doesn't matter with the gods,"
Yep.
and it clearly
I
doesn't
love that.
matter with the gods. And I was so happy. I was so giddy.
Good. Yep. So more to come. We'll point these things out and see where it takes us.
In their mind to mind speak, Saris tells Kingfisher about some of the titles she has taken on lately: Mate, Queen of Sanisroth, King Killer. Specifically, I do want to discuss the King Killer one. She did, in fact, kill Malcolm the King, but I've got to be honest, this one scares me a little bit because our boy's name is Kingfisher.
But it's not. But it's
But it
not.
is.
Fair,
not.
but I don't know this
Everyone
one.
And
calls
at the
him
very
the
end of
king.
the story, she says he is paraphrasing. She says that he is Kingfisher no more to her. This new name takes over in her mind.
But she
go
continues to call him Fisher in her mind because
No,
also that
not
bothers
after that
me.
point.
Yes, it does because I point out when it happens. It absolutely does happen. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm not putting a huge emphasis on this theory as foreshadowing, but King Killer and the fact that our main character's name is Kingfisher and is referred to as the Fisher King.
Yeah, scares you a little bit.
I don't know. It
I
just
get
is
it.
weird. It's just weird, you
Yeah.
know?
Maybe she kills the god part of him, and so he's just Fae forever.
Fae forever.
But our boy Carrion saunters into the room, lightens the mood a bit, and asks Saris, quote, heard you... Sorry, it's just really funny. I heard from Laura that you got yourself a new sex tattoo at your coronation. Can I see it?
A new
He's
sex
like,
tattoo.
Fuck off, Carrion.
Leave me alone. I have shit to deal with.
But he
There are
says
feeder's
this,
head in a bag by the river, and this is what you care about.
hey, he already told them the important information that they all missed. Dude did his job. He can have his joke time.
That's
He's
true.
allowed. After he's just had a thorough washing from the water sprites.
Of course. With extra moss.
But then the conversation quickly turns into wedding discussion. And oh my God, Archer is so adorable. He freaks out.
So
I
stinking
love him
cute.
so much.
A wedding? A wedding?
He's like, I've been planning for this.
Oh, God,
But
he's so
lady,
cute.
you must sit here. But Kingfisher quickly shuts it down. But there's so much like eye movement and like looks between like Kingfisher and Saris in this interaction of like, do you want a wedding? Do you want a wedding? I don't care about a wedding. I don't care about a wedding. Do you care? I don't care. Or do you really care? Like there's so much like they're not saying in this moment. But he shuts it down. And I mean, to be fair, they are God-bound. They don't really need a wedding.
Right.
But that's not going to be the total reason for it. So back in their rooms after dinner, they discuss it further. And I was like, yes, we are adults. We are having conversations. This is
we're not
beautiful.
going to avoid it. Yes.
Thank you.
Agree.
He says that he would love to marry Saris, but there can't be a wedding. Quote, a Fae wedding ceremony is extremely sacred. It is the greatest commitment two lovers can undertake in Avalia, not because they swear to love and honor each other for all their days, not because they give each other their hearts either. It's sacred because they give each other their names, their true names. And I can give you everything else, Osha, but I can't give you that. And a bit more on the importance of names. Quote, a person's true name held power. With it, a person could control the other. They could command them to do whatever they pleased. He also mentions that he had hoped that Adina would have left it for him in one of his journals. Foreshadowing. To the end of the book. But it's very interesting when I got to this passage, my first thought was, it was so interesting that in the bonus chapters, Adina, through Morel, said, your mother wants you to guard your name. So here I am after reading that thinking, well, then Kingfisher obviously knows what his name is. So then to come here and find out Kingfisher doesn't even know his name, that she went beyond the grave to tell Morel, even though he doesn't know his name, tell him to guard the name he doesn't know. Like, she's just playing like 5-dimensional chess, and we're just sitting here in 2D world.
Yes, she
See,
is
to
so
me, that
interesting.
doesn't seem like chess. That seems like an inconsistency.
Maybe. I'm trying I'm trying to think that it was simply if you find this out through my journals thing, because as we talked
Yeah.
about forks in the road that you
Yeah,
need to
that's
know
where I think.
now, I can
Yeah.
get this information to you now through Morel to
Yeah.
tell you to
Yeah.
guard that name if you find it out.
Yeah.
Well, now, when I say inconsistency, remember what we talked about earlier. I think that I don't say inconsistency as an error. I think inconsistency as in there are things
Multiple
happening
timelines. Yeah.
behind the
Fuckery.
scenes.
Fuckery.
There's
So not
fuckery.
inconsistencies, but
Yes.
fuckery.
Yes.
Gotcha.
In the plot.
Okay.
Purposeful
Exactly.
fuckery.
Like, I don't think, yes, exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to call it
Mm.
fuckery.
I like that.
I like that one. So we're going to get an explanation on page in our next episode in chapter 10, where Carrion explains his own timeline inconsistency, which we've highlighted in Quicksilver coverage and in socials. That one is very succinctly explained away for us on page. It presents the option that there are gods messing with the timeline and other things, but there is a timeline issue given to us here that is never addressed on page in Brimstone, so we want to highlight it. Kingfisher says, quote, "We usually receive our true names on our 14th birthdays, and my mother, well, she died before I turned 14 and my father was already gone." So we know Kingfisher's father was gone. It was said that he left Kingfisher when Kingfisher was 10. That all tracks. But going back to Quicksilver, Everlane told Ceres in Quicksilver that her age I was born at the very beginning of the 10th age. I've been alive for 1,486 years. And Kingfisher overhears her say this and says his own age, which is 1,733 years. So if you do the math on that, he's 247 years older than Everlane. And we know that Adina died in childbirth, giving birth to Everlane. So how can Adina have died when Kingfisher was 14 when Everlane is not born for 247 years? And that's when Adina supposedly dies.
Well, he does say
So-
she died before he was 14. Like, you get your
No,
name
he
when you're
says
14.
When
No,
I was
she
14.
died before I
Before.
turned 14.
Okay, before I turned 14. But that's
So that could have, okay, but right. But to your point, it still doesn't make sense how she's 247.
yeah, exactly.
The math does
Before
not match.
I'm 14 or at
Yeah,
14, we still
right.
got 247
Yeah.
years that we're not
So-
sure of.
At first, because again, we talked about this in our Quicksilver coverage. So at first, as soon as they explained the Carrion timeline, I wondered if there was a Kingfisher timeline with him going through the Quicksilver. But in the book later,
Yeah. It's pointed
they
out.
say that Bellicon and his men waited for 2 hours outside the Quicksilver pool. And then Kingfisher, when they're in Diaxis, says that you can't survive there for more than 2
Yep.
hours. So the fact, like, they almost make that a consistent timeline.
Yes.
And so in my head, it almost like cancels that theory out,
Yes.
that his age was affected when he
Yes.
went to Diaxis.
Yes.
Now, he is also, don't forget, my only other thought is that we have learned that Kingfisher has visited Bal and Mythen and Zareth several times.
Yep.
So my only thought is that potentially on his visits to them, they have maybe interfered
Yes.
with his
And that is the
timeline.
whole point in all of this, right? That
Yeah.
Carrion explained that the gods mess with time. Time doesn't matter to the gods. And that's why that one instance is explained away,
Yeah.
which could very much account for this inconsistency here as well. It's more the fact that this one is given to us, but not explained away on page, that I feel like we need to highlight it at least.
For sure. It just explains, like, obvious there's an answer with Carrion's timeline, and now we
Yes.
need to question that there's a difference with Kingfisher's
You got it.
timeline, too.
You got
Yep.
it.
Mhm. Or maybe Everlane's. Maybe it's
Yeah.
Everlane's
True.
timeline.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Because we do know that Everlane is somewhere, metaphorically
Doing
speaking.
something.
And so maybe by her being there, a timeline has gotten messed up. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Because
But-
we don't know anything about what has happened to Everlane in the previous 1,486 years since the day we met her. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So in all of
Long
those
time.
years, things could have happened, especially
Fuckery
if you
could be
think
afoot.
about
Yeah.
about Bellicon being involved in her
Yeah.
life. I don't know.
Mhm.
Well, Ceres debuts some new magic. Kingfisher says that everyone in the manor is going to hear them going at it. And
So
then,
what?
right? Come on, mind your business.
They're all
And
doing
then-
it. Tal is having orgies. People
He
just mind your
totally
business.
is. Mind your business. But who knows? Maybe they're using magic that no one knows that they have. Well, she says, quote, "Something within me shifted, a pin falling into place inside the tumbler of a lock. I could suddenly feel the air inside the room, the way it eddied around the furniture and rose up to bloom against the roof rafters. I didn't understand how I knew to do it, but I felt the air thickening. The molecules swaying with the tide of the room stopped, stilling, and my ears suddenly felt as if they were full of cotton wool." Kingfisher says that it might be one of her small magics. Okay, small magic, that is freaking cool. You don't like it?
No.
Why?
It's too much. When she gets so much magic. And I think by the time we get to the end of this book, she is the epitome of an overpowered character. Like with all of her runes and all of her magic, and then she's got regenerative magic, she's got this magic. Like it's just a little bit too easy for me that every single thing she comes up against, to the point where she wants to have loud sex with her mate. Even in that silly of a situation, she gets a magic.
Yeah.
It was
a
too
little-
quick, too easy.
Oh, see, that it didn't bother me
It's
at
a
all
little
because
too
it was
much.
so like throwaway. Like it didn't matter that much, and
But
so
you
it didn't
can't
bother me.
just get magic here and get magic here, especially how Kingfisher describes how finite his small magic is. So why does Ceres get like 12 of them?
Yeah, I'm
Is
valid
it
point.
cool?
It doesn't
Is
bother
it
me at
cool?
all.
Yes. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But this seemed a little too easy for me. And especially because it's never used again. Like if the magic was used again throughout the book for like a bigger purpose, and this was just our first time seeing it, I'd be like, oh, wait, that was that magic that we saw her use before, but it's part of a much larger magic or like a different magic.
Yeah.
But it just seems too easy to me.
Yeah. I
don't
see
know.
it as like a, if she wills it, she can do it kind of thing. Like she has to want to do it and like believe that she can do it. And when Kingfisher's mom tells him that you are enough, you're powerful enough, in that scene when he was a kid, and he's like, oh, I really can't do it, I'm not strong enough. And she's like, no, yes, you are. I kind of feel like in this moment, she has the need and the confidence to be like, yeah, I'm going to just do what I want to do. And I want this. And so she kind of wills it. And so that's kind of how I saw it. It didn't bother me. I think later on, some of her powers are, oh, wow, that's convenient. But this
Yeah.
one so early on didn't bother me at all. I just, oh, that's fun. Good for you.
Do we think it's accurate to state that thinking of her as now half Fae, okay? And thinking about birthright magic, because she was an alchemist when she was human.
Yeah.
Do we think she has some kind of birthright magic now that she is Fae that is separate and distinct from her being an alchemist? Because she had alchemist power while she was human. So is that still something birthright to her? Or do we think her Fae birthright power is still out there? Like, what are we thinking there?
I don't, because she wasn't born Fae.
But she had Fae blood. But I don't know that I believe that she would have gotten anything so far down the line unless we find out later something about her father, which I know we'll talk about him or the lack of knowing him in those little moments that we get, that one moment that we get. But the only way I could see it actually being birthright is if there is something else going on that we don't know about yet about her actual parents.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I agree with you, Lindsay. I don't think that it would have been birthright
Yeah.
for
And I
her.
feel like if she was going, because birthright magics are big, right?
Mm.
I think that if we found out that she had another big magic, I think it would make my point even
That was kind of what I was
harder.
going for.
Right. Like, I think that her alchemy
Yeah.
is her big power. I think that is her birthright magic.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
other thing that it made me think of is there was this line in Quicksilver when they're fighting at the Darn, and I brought it up in our Quicksilver coverage where she mentions time slowed down, and at the time I was like, "Oh, is that literally a power?" Because Renfis calls her out like, "What was that? What
Yeah.
happened?" Like he even visually saw something happen,
Yeah.
and it
Mhm.
was never explained again, and it's not explained here in Brimstone. So,
Callie said something about that in an
oh,
interview.
what was it?
Someone asked her that in an interview, and she was like, "Guys, you look way too much into things." She was like, "That was just Saris's perspective of everything happening so quickly around her."
So then Renfis calls. I wouldn't have if you didn't have Renfis call it
Well,
out.
no, here's the thing, because we talked about this too. Whatever happened, Renfis saying, "What was that?" could be talking about the other shit that was
Right.
going
It's
on,
from
not
Saris's
necessarily
perspective.
that he also saw things slow down. He was just talking about, holy shit, what was
Yeah.
that? You know? I think it could be just that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we do read really far into everything.
So they get a little hot and heavy, and some biting starts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do we all feel about the biting?
Mm-hmm.
Katharine, I know, was looking forward to the biting.
From an equality standpoint only, I would like it on record that that was the only reason I wanted biting. But I know where you're going to go with this, Lindsay, and I
Yeah.
actually agree with you in the way it's presented.
Mhm.
So, why don't you
Mhm.
tell our
Okay.
listeners?
Yeah, I kind of take a little bit of issue with the biting and the dosing. Like, Kingfisher is very much against vampires and their need for blood, but we constantly see them biting each other for pleasure. And I don't like, why is it okay for them to use it for pleasure, but not as a way to sustain life?
Yeah.
Now, I get it. Vampires are sustaining life by killing other people, and that's bad. I get that. I'm not saying that. But he's so against their way of life and their leeching, and this is a little leeching to
It's a
me.
little
I
bit
don't know.
hypocritical, maybe.
Yeah, it feels a little bit hypocritical, like drug use to
Yeah.
me, like that you would judge someone for I don't know the right
Mm.
metaphor, but it seems judgmental, but then you're doing it yourself.
Like
And
somebody
there
who,
are times like that Kingfisher seems like he's a little against it, and Saris is like, "Oh no, let's do it." Like, at least that's how I read it.
Yeah.
at least she's a
But
vampire, though. So she has an
right.
excuse to fall back on.
But
Yeah.
still, like, I don't know, I don't love the biting and dosing pretty much every time they have sex.
Mm.
I kept getting on the fact that I was like, okay, uh, if you take it too far, aren't you going to become a vampire? Like, I got a bit confused in the whole, okay, when are you going to take it too far? And does that make you a vampire? Because they talk about like drinking and drinking and drinking. And I'm like, can we?
You have to
You might,
drain
you might
usually.
want to stop soon.
Yeah.
You're drinking a lot here.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It is very morally gray.
Right.
I think your point is it right? Is it not right? I think we're supposed to feel that because I don't care. Not like in a bad way. Like I don't care about your theory. This does not bother me at all. I'm like, yeah, people are morally gray and they're morally gray, and it's like it doesn't bother me because I don't see it as hypocritical as you see it. But I think that's the point of it all, is that it is morally gray, and I think we're supposed to maybe put our stake in the ground of how we feel about it, because it's very, I think, important, like you said, in the plot and in his characterization as Kingfisher, of like, you feel so strongly about this, but you're doing it in this way. And like, what do you think about it? Where do you stand? So, but it does not bother me again at all. I'm like, yeah,
I wouldn't take offense to the morally gray part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't take offense to them doing it. It's the fact that he is so against it, but then
with vampires,
then does it himself. It's like the judgmentalness about it. I think that's what bothers me more than anything.
I kind of agree. I agree.
You know?
I don't like the judgment part of it, given the fact that you're doing it yourself.
Yeah,
And
I think he sees it as like, I'm doing it to a certain point, and then there's like, it's almost like there's a area that's, it's okay to do X, Y, and Z things if it's within this parameter, but once you go outside of this box, that's not okay. You know what I mean? Like, I almost wonder if that's how he's rationalizing it in his head, or if it's just because he's horny and his mate wants to do this, and he's going to be like, well, yeah, I know I don't believe in this, but in this moment, I sure as fuck believe in it. You know? I believe in dosing.
We have talked to you about how we like the fact that they are so on the same page in their relationship in this book.
Yes.
And I agree. I like it that they're not torn apart. I like it that they are mates and they're together. Do they have penetrative sex in this book without dosing each other? They fool around without doing it, but do they penetrate without dosing?
Stop saying penetrate. You make me want to laugh.
It's a good point.
Honestly,
I don't know.
I don't think that they do.
Said it, I thought you were going to say, do they have penetrative sex without a condom? And I'm like,
no.
I don't think they talk about that.
No
in this
fake
book.
condoms. No fake condoms. But I don't know. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it.
Lindsey, I will happily take this burden on my reread to look at all the sex scenes
all
again.
the sex scenes,
so that I can
Katharine
answer
is doing
this
the
question
Lord's work
for you,
the God's
for
work.
science,
really
for
dive deep.
Yeah,
you
really get in there.
I
really
will take
get in
upon
there.
this burden.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I also would love it if this is a moment, or this is an opportunity for Kingfisher to realize that maybe he was a little bit too extreme about the vampires. And almost when you think so strongly about something, or you're such a zealot about something, and then you go through things in your own life and you start to see like, oh, wait a minute, actually, yes, there are aspects of vampirism that are bad. Like you said, the whole killing people thing, right? That's bad. Okay. But maybe not all of the things associated with vampirism are bad. And maybe this is his way of being able to see some of the vampires, including Foley, including Tal, as more, for lack of a better term, human, but like their humanity, their fae-manity, and them not being fully bad, because he is now experiencing things. And there are some really cool and not awful things about being a vampire, so maybe they're not all bad too. I would like that if it if
I
that
would like
becomes
him.
a moment.
Yeah.
I would like that.
I would like that moment too. But the tough part for me about that moment is that he already felt that way about Tal and Foley. You know what I mean? Like, it would be different if he changed his view on somebody.
Yeah, that
but
he
he
already
doesn't.
respects
And now
them.
there's no vampires for him to change his view on.
Well, you know what?
You know what I
Sometimes when
mean?
we get
Like-
really old in our age, our views are really hard to shift. And
That's true.
Kingfisher is quite old.
Yeah. And listen.
And we don't really know how old he is because
That's
of
true.
timeline issues. Right. But we do get some good, sexy Kingfisher quotes. Here's one for you. Come on, Osha. Where else would an acolyte kneel to worship but at the altar of his god? And just for context, this is when he is kneeling before her at her altar.
And just for more context, he's a half god himself.
Yes.
But he's calling her his god.
Yes.
Love it. Chapter
Okay.
7, people.
But hold on. Also note that it is so intense that Sarah's passes out.
Listen.
You know what? Dude
if that's dosing,
might be
you do you.
hypocritical about biting, but he's good at it.
Right?
There you go.
All forgiven for a great
And this is
there
why
you
it
go.
doesn't bother me, because it's good.
Right, because it's so good that you pass
You know
out.
what? Good. Be hypocritical. Sure.
Why not? Was that the 12 glorious pages of fucking, by the way?
Yeah, it had to have been. Chapter 7.
Because Kelly said it in her summary up above. So was that it? That has to be it. Yes,
Yeah,
because they
chapter
haven't
7.
had sex until now. Yeah, because they made a
Yeah.
whole point of being like, when can I fucking bone you? Everybody
Yep.
keeps distracting us.
Yeah, everyone keeps needing us for something else.
There you go.
See, and side note, 12 glorious pages of fucking, and we talk about it for 2 paragraphs. Don't tell me all we do is talk about fairy smut. Don't tell me. What have
Nope.
we been talking about this entire podcast?
I
2
know.
paragraphs of it.
Yep. You're right.
Just saying.
I can include more if you want me to.
The next morning, Kingfisher and Renfus go to Erin. Renfus has been to visit Everlane, but not the first mention of this. What does that mean? Oh, like he's been to visit her, but we've had mentions of Everlane before now?
Renfus has been to visit Everlane this morning, not the first mention of this. I think so. Like
Okay.
that he's gone several times.
Okay.
So
before.
it wasn't the first time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Renfus mentions that he's been to visit Everlane this morning, but he's been visiting with her. Reminder, she's in a non-waking state.
Yeah.
Since the last book. They don't use the
Sure
word
has.
coma, so I don't know really what to call it. But
Yeah.
Demon coma.
Demon coma does sound
Go into your
accurate.
demon dreams. No, that's a different series. Demon sleep.
Yep. Renfus is adorable. And he asks Kingfisher if he and Saris are in love. And they just share a moment over that. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that's adorable.
Yep. Another like
cute.
brother, same thing as we
Yes.
talked about earlier with like their blue ball moment, like another kind of brotherly love. Yeah.
They continue their conversation about Teladius, and Renfus admits that his feelings are very conflicted about the vampire. And I just kept waiting for like, give me more, give me more. We get more, just not yet. They make it to the camp where 11,000 warriors once lived. And now it is a total wasteland.
Yeah.
And it's just, I know I brought it up before, how the rot just days later after meeting with Zareth just suddenly appears. And now it is spread to the point where there were 11,000 warriors in an encampment that had spanned 1,000 years, and they're just gone.
Wild.
That was fast.
It reminds me of the scene at the end of Quicksilver where Zareth is showing Saris the tree, and he's like, each
Yeah.
of these leaves represents a whole world, and he just snips a leaf.
Yeah.
This is
Mhm.
that. It's wild. It's wild.
Mhm. Well, to be clear, though, 11,000 warriors haven't been killed.
No,
Right.
They're just gone.
They're
Yes.
just
It's just
gone.
different.
Yes.
Yes.
But
yeah,
it's
the
the
land is
land
gone.
is a
Is
wasteland,
not the
but
warriors.
the
yeah.
Yes.
idea that, I mean, they've only been gone
Yeah.
a day,
Right.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you moved 11,000 people. Like, they
Mhm.
were booking it.
Sure.
They were running.
Sure.
And only this huge oak remains with the 8 special feeders strapped to it. They've fused to the tree and out of the roots in like this black blood that is just contaminating the ground. And we get this quote where the black ooze spread, rot, and decay followed after it. And I have to wonder, the imagery of the oak tree and the imagery that we have with the
Yep.
universe tree,
Mhm.
I think is very intentional there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The
I
tree
love
with the
that. I
Quicksilver
like that
pool.
connection. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And Lindsey, going back to what you said earlier, when we were first introduced to those 8 feeders, the word rot was not used at that time. But this right here, this quote where the black ooze spread, rot and decay followed after it, this is our first instance of the use of the word rot on page
Yep.
in this context.
Yep, absolutely. And it's going to continue to be our big bad as we continue our coverage of Brimstone here. That is a wrap on episode 1 of Brimstone by Callie Hart. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Next time, we will be covering chapters 9 through 19. So be sure to join us for the next Fantasy Friday. Happy reading! Bye!
Bye.